Yes, it's Umineko time. Let's do a chunk of Umineko. Umineko Sunday. Man, the whole, just the balance of the world is off. Speaking here, mostly, especially to the VOD viewers here on YouTube, because I know there are people that watch that don't watch anything else. So I'll announce it now. For this stream, for the next several streams probably, depending, I guess, especially how many Uminekos I fit in over the next however long it takes to get fixed. Hopefully it's not too loud on stream, but there's a loud fan blowing off in the distance in my apartment. In an attempt to keep my apartment cool, my AC is broken here in Texas. We are in triple digits for the past week or so here in Texas. My AC decided to die. My AC decided it was a good time to die. So until it gets fixed, that's the best I can do. The alternative is that I just don't stream, which I don't want to do. I don't think it's too bad on stream. You might hear it in the background a bit, but especially during these moments where I don't have music going on, like in game or something. But I think it's mostly probably bad for me. I think I've talked about how, like, what I hear is a lot more amplified than what's actually on the stream, so that's just how it is. But I mean, the alternative is no Umineko streams, so I don't want that. I don't think you want that. We gotta read, we gotta keep pace, we gotta keep doing the thing. So yeah, it is a Sunday afternoon. We're gonna read Umineko. It feels like it's been a while since I played, so I kind of have to catch back up on what was happening. There it is. But that's no problem. We always do this. It feels like it's been technically over a week because I didn't do it yesterday. Normally I've been doing like Saturdays and stuff. Because we've been doing Saturdays, I didn't do it yesterday because of things, and then during the week I've been really pushing hard on a couple other games. So that is the reasoning, but it's fine. Everyone loves it. Bing bong ding dong. Alright, we got the thumbnail here is of Battler in his pained expression. Let's find out. Let's try to. I mean, I was gonna say why could he be so pained, but I'm like, I kind of remember. I mean, all right, starting off with a good scream. So let's take a look here. Should have taken a liking to this game of Kinzo's. That's got to be Beatrice. 13 people are chosen at random. Okay, so she's explaining. While that happens, you all run about showing me all kinds of human interactions to try to oppose me and entertaining me greatly. I don't remember these lines at all. Last time Rosa killed Beatrice? Oh, yeah! Okay. Wow, even that statement confused me for like a good 2.5 seconds. Yes. Rosa indirectly killed Beatrice. A much more whimsical Beatrice, I think. I think I had did stab me in the back. Yeah, these are probably like her reflecting on it kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah, she's explaining then. So then she was explaining, yeah, so now now this thing, Kinzo does this game, Kinzo does a thing where he returns the ring. It was my goal that revived the family. Okay, yes. 13 people chosen. So she was explaining it after. All right, I remember. Yes, it's all flooding back. Beatrice falling off a cliff in just a brutal way. God, it could almost be seen from a mile away when that was starting to happen. I was just like, I can't believe this is how we're doing it. Okay, so I assume we're now just coming back. So she explains that whole thing, and he has now, I guess, digested it. I guess we're gonna find out. So, let's begin. Scream! Noise that you heard. I definitely won't believe in that kind of magic story, alright? So he is, doing his normal battler things here, it seems, where he's like, that's such a fantastical story, I refuse. Then who are you? You fell off a cliff and died, right? Your soul slipped out, became butterflies, and went to the forest? That isn't possible. But you're here. Who are you? Aren't you the 19th person? That is true. I am the 19th person. We've got Sunday energy I need to burn through. Cackle cackle, but it's useless, right? It's all useless. Oh, we're already starting, aren't we? Sorry, I'm adjusting some audio levels here. Okay, slightly. There are no more than 18 humans on this Rokenjima. What? What did you say? So you're saying that the X in the 18X doesn't exist? Are you saying the piece I took, the X, doesn't exist? That is what this means. Okay, I was gonna say, like, at first I thought it was gonna be like a technicality, because the way she said it was 18 humans, and then I was gonna be like, well, maybe someone or something doesn't count as like a human. It's its own separate category. But maybe I'm not thinking correctly there. My condolences. Still, you do move fast, milady. And I thought you let him flounder about before spinning everything around at the end. Well then, Battler-sama, would some more tea be agreeable? I don't need it, damn it. I don't believe it. The culprit can't be one of the 18. Then what are you, and why are you here? If the 19th person doesn't exist, then are you saying you're one of the 18 in disguise? Oh my god, my theory. My shitty theory from several parts ago is back on the table. Beatrice is one of the original 18. In a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type situation. My theory is back, guys. The theory is back. She's Natsui. She's Natsui. Natsui is Beatrice, and they've got an off and on personality thing. I'm calling it. We're back on it. Back on the train. We're back on the train. We're back on the train. Laugh, laugh. Perhaps you are castling. Though reluctantly, you are doubting one of the 18 people as your last way out. However, it will be If you choose to stop caring about propriety,
18人もの人間を自在に犯人に仕立て上げられる。
you could prepare a culprit freely. You could prepare a culprit freely amid 18 people,
その18人の駒をくぐり抜け、
making you reach checkmate
わらわを認めさせチェックメイトに至るのは
by evading those 18 pieces.
実に難しいことよ。
Will be truly difficult.
そんなことするもんか。
As if I'd do that,
18人の誰も疑わない。
I won't suspect any of the 18.
疑いたくない。
I don't want to suspect people.
またここに追い込まれちまったのか。
Have I really been cornered here again?
ちくしょう。ちくしょうちくしょう。
Damn it. Damn it, damn it.
三度に及んだそなたとのゲーム、いよいよ終盤戦のようではないか。
It looks like we're finally approaching the end in the third round of this game of ours.
もう逃げ場はないぞ。
You've nowhere to run anymore. Cackle.
お前の大好きな18人を疑いたくないだろう。わらわがそれをかぶってやるぞ。
You don't want to suspect any of those beloved people in the 18, do you? Were you trying to hide that from me?
なのになぜわらわを拒むのか。
Then why do you refuse me?
序盤は本のように、中盤は魔術師のように、
They say you should play the opening like a book, the middle game like a magician,
そして終盤は機械のようにさせとな。
and the end game like a machine.
これより詰めるぞ。
I'll corner you from here on.
ゆっくりじっくり、確実にな。
Slowly, carefully, surely.
いや、それともそなたにふさわしく一気に畳みかけるのが良いのか。
Or, on the other hand, would it be better if I pressed you all at once, which might suit your style more?
そなたにはそれが似合うだろう。そうしよう。
Yes, that should fit you well. Let's do that.
すでにそなたの苦手とする攻め方も知り抜いておるわ。
I'm now fully aware of the sorts of attacks you're weakest against. Cackle, cackle, cackle. Hee 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 hee. Kaboom. Kaboom. There they are. Wow, it's actually been a while with the kids and waitstaff, yeah? We had a long chunk with, like, the adults. Obviously, the back and forth with Beatrice and this new guy. Oh, man, we're just going... Are we just showing through the moments? There was the moment where he was like, I'm going to propose to you, and... Are we just like, oh, we've already seen these, we don't need to go over these again. It's happening. Let's get to the killings. Let's go. Yep, 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 yep. We're going to the third game. We gotta go. We gotta kill. There's people to kill. There's people to kill. We gotta do it. Austin has no time to retread George's awkward proposal thing. There they are. Any guesses on deaths or survivals? I've got none. I mean, the way you ask that means like unless maybe are there things that are supposed to be pointing me towards certain outcomes? Because if there is, I have no fucking idea. But maybe it is just random. I mean, random as far as the narrative goes. Yep, there's Kinto. Yep. Oh, I'm here too. I hope I don't die tonight. I mean, I stand by what I said before. There are some characters I really want to have not die. Eva not dying makes a ton of sense just because we've had her whole thing here since the beginning of episode 3. She's been like an important thing. We're learning about this like, oh shit, midnight, oh, a Steam achievement. Yeah, I would say Eva not dying makes a lot of sense, just because we've got the whole, that inner her thing going on since the beginning of the episode. I still stand by. It would be interesting to see her take up the mantle of the one adult that's alive if we continue that like the past episodes. Of course, I want to see more of Kairi. I hope she doesn't die in the first round again. Justice for Kairi, honestly. I don't think it'll happen, but a death of someone like Maria would be actually super interesting because it would really turn everything on its head. Like, narratively, I don't think this game has the balls right now, at least in episode 3, to like kill someone like Maria, because she's so pivotal, obviously, to advancing the plot, to certain aspects of the story and everything. So I don't think we're gonna get like a Maria death, even though that would be super interesting. Honestly, what are some characters that I wouldn't mind, that I just don't have to see them again? Hideyoshi, fucking kill, Rudolph again, that's fine. Honestly, I wanna, if we talk about waitstaff, if we could have, like, I want a situation where we have, like, Shannon and Cannon alive and the rest dead. And by the rest, I mean all of the old folks. I want Genji. I want, wow, I'm already like, it's only been like a little more than a week, and I'm already like blanking on this fucker's name. Goda. Yes, Goda. I want him gone. Kumasawa gone. Genji gone. Shannon, Cannon, I want to stay. Fucking Nanjo, he can leave. He doesn't need to be here. So more than like actual theories, there are just certain situations of people making it on, like making it through, especially that first massive round of killings, that I really want to like explore. And like I said, I think if they did something crazy like killing Maria, that would be interesting. I just don't think the game has... I was being mean to the game. I said that I don't think the game has the balls to do it, but... I mean, just narratively, it would be hard to do it. Move the mouse there off the screen. Here we go. Well then. How will this game be resolved? You may submit, or you may resist. Either way, it will truly be an entertaining banquet worth betting my short remaining life on. In his dimly lit study, occasionally brightened by lighting, Kinzo kept mumbling and laughing to himself. On the antique clock with the intricate design that had been sitting on his desk, the two overlapping hands tilted to the right and began to slide. The measure of time that counted up to 24 had returned to 0, and had begun to count back again. Measuring time is a brutal thing. It drags itself all the way to 24 over the course of a day and then returns back to 0. It certainly did count to 23:59. However, is it ever able to reach 2400? If you conclude that it returns to 0 again without reaching 24, how futile it must all be. The way he's explaining this, am I supposed to feel bad for clocks and the concept of time in general? The plight of a clock. The plight of time. But perhaps a person's life is the same. You live, aiming for a perfect 24, and in the instant you reach it, you return to 0. Rough. People will probably praise the departed, saying that he did reach 24, but he most certainly did not. This is weirdly, like, so melancholic. Like, this is so sad sounding. In the end, he's a 0. I am different. I will live and reach 24. That itself is the Golden Land. For that is where Beatrice dwells. Kinzo had been fumbling around with some tarot cards for some time. It looked as though he was trying to divine his own luck with a contest, doing it over every time he didn't like the result. The most forbidden action in tarot reading is trying to predict the same thing twice. To do so ridicules the results of fortune-telling, and also desecrates those beings higher than humans that give revelations through the tarot cards. However, Kinzo knew. Tarot cards shouldn't be used twice because, since they're nothing more than a random number generator, reading them twice will naturally cause a different result to appear. Therefore, reading them twice is only forbidden to preserve the mystique of the tarot card's results. However, that didn't mean that Kinzo didn't take tarot reading seriously. Kinzo's interpretation of tarot reading was done in a completely different way. This might be an analogy that is very lost on many people's heads, but it's like in the NBA world, basketball, professional basketball association, NBA. You know, every year at the end, the conclusion of a year, all the worst teams get doled out odds to get like the top pick in the next year's draft, based on how bad you were the last year. And so a lot of fans, as those times approach, they take to sites called, I think, tankathon.com, where it just is basically like a random number generator, and like you hit the button and it'll essentially simulate the lottery nature of like those odds. And like there's people that are like, yeah, you should hit it once and then see what the result is and then take it. But then there's those people that are just will keep hitting the button until their team gets the best result. It's just very funny. That was to repeat the reading over and over, without giving up in the slightest, until he reached the result most favorable to him. The mark he set for his most favorable result would vary, but when he demanded the most favorable result in a strictly literal sense, it was the same as a simple roulette of luck, where he seeked an arithmetic miracle. However, Kinzo used miracles of numbers as the basis of his magical power, so this functioned perfectly well as a magical ritual. He used miracles of numbers as a basis of his magical power. I guess you could call him a true math magician. It's a mathematician joke. In other words, until the result he desired appeared perfectly, he would strive to repeat the tarot readings. It's really good. I was making a really dumb face after I said that. And then, like, it took, like, 5 seconds for me to realize, oh, it's not like anyone can see what I'm doing. Until the result he desired appeared perfectly, he would strive to repeat the tarot readings over and over, with conviction, turning the feelings of his heart into prayers, so that when they reached the heavens, they would be sublimated into results. This was Kinzo's personal magical interpretation. Therefore, even though Kinzo's tarot cards were no different from those generally used, the way in which they were used was completely different. Tonight will not go as I thought. Kinzo stopped his hands for a second. He seemed not to be getting the results he wanted. On the contrary, bad cards that shouldn't show up so often appeared repeatedly, and continued to interfere with the miracle Kinzo wished for. Is that how it is? Is he seeing his own death? It's interesting, because, like, obviously so many different permutations could happen. And if he's saying, like, oh, it's not going to happen like I wanted to, or how I needed to. Like, Kinzo doesn't really seem to care about how anyone else makes it or doesn't make it through the game. So, does he, I mean, if he's just looking out for his own results, is he just like, well, fuck, I'm gonna be a loser? Kinzo seemed to have received some revelation that was different from normal. but judging by the unlucky cards scattered across his desk, it is difficult to imagine that the omen had been a good one. For a while, Kinzo closed his eyes tightly, pondering something. Then, as the thunder roared, he made up his mind about something, took the telephone receiver, and dialed. It is I! Is Genji there? An urgent matter has come up. Genji. Genji. Please come. Huh. In front of the entrance hall, Shannon's once burning face had been cooled off by the frigid air. She had thought that George's proposal would surely come sooner or later. It wasn't as though she hadn't prepared herself mentally. She had answered by nodding. She had been reckless. Had she been reckless because of her youth? Should she have thought about her future more seriously? I wonder if my immediate reply made him think I'm a cheap girl. If I'd at least waited until tomorrow morning, would that at least have shown him I was taking this seriously? No, Shannon, this is good. Maybe you or him might not have till tomorrow morning. Now that she'd already received the ring from George, Shannon kept fidgeting in embarrassment. I should have done this, I should have done that. As she did, she heard the sound of footsteps splashing through puddles. Shannon immediately chased away, the emotions welling up inside her.
Genji-sama?
Genji-sama?
Kanon-kun mo.
And Kanon-kun too. I'm sorry, I have to go back soon. She grew stiff, thinking she'd surely be scolded for spending too much time in her secret lover's meeting with George.
Son.
Genji's like, I don't give a shit. Shannon. The master told us to come to the study, saying it was urgent. Let us hurry. Huh? Yes, certainly. What in the world? He said he had a premonition of misfortune. How convenient for him, considering he's the one who started the ceremony. We will enter from the back so that Goda doesn't notice us. Hide your footsteps. Yes. Nisa, take care. You're so noisy. Oh no! Don't be mean to her! Kanon was especially good at hiding his footsteps. Just like a cat. Meow. He was able to suddenly be there without anyone noticing and leave in the same way. For example, even though he stepped in puddles, the sound he made was far smaller than that of the rain hitting them. He's got that secret shush technique. Genji also had abilities of that kind, or rather, those servants called furniture were supposed to be like that. Just like how desks and closets go unnoticed by members of the family, these servants also held as a great virtue to suddenly be there whenever they were needed. Compared to that, Shannon's footsteps still strongly asserted themselves. She was also trying to hide her footsteps, but compared to Kanon and Genji, well, you could say she was a little more boisterous. I'm gonna go out on a thick limb here and say that this is a metaphor for her personality compared to the other furniture servants. Eventually they reached the back door and the three of them entered the mansion. Creaky. Creaky. Immediately, they thought they felt something. The air was off. It was different from a sense of smell, and it seemed to hit the depths of their noses. This hard-to-describe sensation, which you might call a sixth sense, allowed them to perceive that something was different than usual.
Genji-sama.
Genji-sama. Indeed. Let us hurry. That sensation made it feel as though a tense something was pressing in around them. Realizing that, the three of them dashed up the stairs, heading for Kinzo's study while still hiding their footsteps. When they dashed up the stairs, that smell of sweet poison particular to Kinzo's study reached their noses. What is it, Genji-sama?
結界が死んでいる。
The barrier is dead. Huh? Ah. After hearing Cannon's words, she looked at the door to the study. A scorpion pattern was engraved on the doorknob, a powerful ward against magic, final barrier which protected Kinzo himself. It had been broken. Sorry, I had to check something. Okay. Of course, there was no change to the doorknob that the eye could see. However, those who could understand things people couldn't perceive were able to recognize that a dramatic change had occurred. Master! Master! It is Genji! Please, open the door. Genji called in this way after knocking several times, but there was no answer from the study. Shannon, guard our backs. Cannon, search inside the room. Yes. Double. Yes. Cannon put his ear against the door, searching for a presence inside the study. To protect the backs of the pair watching the door, Shannon faced the other way, ready for the unexpected. The master must be in here. But it's too quiet. Do you mean to say he's safe? Hell no. It's too quiet. Could it possibly be... Master. Excuse us about the door. Genji pulled a gold key out of his pocket. It was the only key to the study that existed other than the one Kinzo held. He stuck it in the keyhole and turned it heavily. Almost said heavenly. At first glance, that seemed to prove that it was a sturdy lock. However, now that the barrier had been destroyed, the door might as well have been left open, from the viewpoint of anyone with magical power. The heavy sound just now meant that the door had been opened even for humans. Excuse me? I guess that should have been read more like, excuse me. As Genji respectfully bowed his head, and Cannon's sense of tension grew tighter, and Shannon trembled, they entered the study. They immediately discovered Kinzo's figure. He was sitting on the reception sofa so that his back faced them. Genji noticed the person sitting across from him and again bowed deeply. Cannon also noticed that person and made a shocked face. But he didn't bow his head. He stood in front of Shannon and spread out his arms, blocking the way to her. So without even seeing that person's face, Shannon already had a good idea who it was. So, you have come. Beatrice-sama. Yeah, I am. Genji, is it? You came very quickly. Yes, it is always best when furniture answers to their master's call quickly. Unlike this person. So, Renove-sama has come as well. Genji directed his greeting towards the thin darkness behind, to the right of Beatrice, where there shouldn't have been anything. Even Canon Shannon would never have imagined that someone was there, always hiding in the shadows. However, the darkness responded immediately and praised Genji's eyesight. I'm here! As usual, you don't disappoint. It has been quite some time. Still, you've grown old, haven't you? Have so many years truly passed you by? My days have been full and satisfying. It appears you have been living quite a full life yourself, Renove-sama. I just now noticed, like this name is very close to, like, this name. Renove and I don't know how you would Renoir. Is that intentional? Oh, yeah, I should show this off just in case. So, for the longest of the time I've had Does He Know? I've now also entered, just in case he doesn't know. So if we ever have a moment where we have to wonder, does he... That's funny that the head kind of goes right where Genji is. But unintentional. But now we also have a he doesn't know, just in case someone doesn't know. We have to be very we have to have both. We gotta cover all bases. Renova says yes.
おかげさまです。
Thank you.
そしてシャノンも久しぶりですね。
And Shannon, it has been a long time since I last saw you as well.
君は随分と美しくなった。
You have grown quite beautiful.
そして随分と強くなったようですね。
And it seems that you have grown quite strong.
良いことです。
Okay, so they clearly Renove has some history with this other wait staff people. That is fortunate.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much.
姉さん、あいつは一体。
Nisan, who in the world?
カノン君とは会うのは初めてになりますね。
This will be our first meeting, Kennen-kun.
私はベアトリーチェ様の家具頭を任されておりますロノウェと申します。
I, Renove, have been entrusted with the position of Beatrice-sama's head furniture.
源氏さんの古い馴染みですよ。
I am an old friend of Genji-san's.
あなたと同じに私も家具です。
And I'm also furniture, just like you.
使える主は異なりますが。
Although the master I serve is different. The tense color didn't disappear from Ken's face in the slightest. Depending on the master furniture served, they might be kind or brutal or anything else. If this person claimed to be furniture serving the hated Beatrice, then he might be despicable as well. La 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 la.
わらはもうすっかり嫌われたものだ。
It seems I'm thoroughly despised.
坊主憎ければ今朝までなんとかとはよく言ったものよ。
It's as though you hate everything that has anything to do with me. Beatrice openly sneered at Cannon's hate-filled face. Then, Cannon finally realized. Beatrice and Kinzo were having a chess game across the reception table. But Kinzo hadn't even quivered. He was holding his breath with both hands, his eyes closed tight as he contemplated his next move. Or was he in anguish?
親方様。
Master,
わらわが金蔵に伝えたのは2つ。
I have told Kinzo two things.
良い知らせと悪い知らせだった。
There was good news and bad news.
良い知らせは儀式を終えずしてわらわと再会できる幸運を得たこと。
It's a shame. I always rather be told the bad news first. The good news is that he'll have the good fortune of being reunited with me before the ceremony ends.
悪い知らせは金蔵が儀式の一番最初の生贄に選ばれてしまったことだ。
The bad news is that Kinzo has been selected as the very first sacrifice in the ceremony.
こればかりはわらわにもどうしようもない。
There's absolutely nothing I can do about it.
実に気まぐれにルーレットにて決めたのだから。
Because it truly was decided by the fickle roulette.
嘘つけ。
Liar!
もて遊んで殺しているくせに。
We know you're just a murderer who kills for fun.
よして、カノン君。
Stop it, Kennen-kun.
さて金蔵。
So, Kinzo,
そろそろ負けを認める気になったのか？
isn't it about time you decide to accept your loss?
これにてわらわとの長きにわたる勝負は決着だな。
Laugh, laugh, laugh. With this, our long contest is at an end, yes? Thank you, I appreciate that. I have been having fun. Kinzo goes, "Ugh." At a glance, it was hard to make out the situation on that chaotic chessboard. However, judging by Kinzo's anguish and Beatrice's malicious confidence, it seemed to be over already.
是非もなし。
It is unavoidable.
これもまた一興か。
Perhaps even this could be amusing.
わらわもだ。
It is to me too.
そなたとの勝負に決着がつくことは万感の思いあれど、もはや恩衆を超える。
Resolving my contest with you may bring a flood of emotions, but it has already surpassed love and hate.
楽しかったぞ。
It was fun.
退屈しない数十年であった。
These past few decades certainly weren't boring. Beatrice advanced her queen and made her final move. And that decided it. God, wouldn't it be cool if, like, she moves into checkmate and then, like, the chessboard just explodes, like, in Kinzo's face and that's how he dies? God, I need her to, like, up the fantastical ways of the killings. Checkmate. This is my final tribute to you. Though the way that I just explained that sounds more like a season 0 Yu-Gi-Oh type thing, where like from the Shadow Realm, he's like, you want to play a game, and they play some twisted game, and then he's like, checkmate, and then it just fucking blows up in their face. Why am I so sure that's not what's gonna happen? It's true. Maybe I'm speaking too early. Maybe. Checkmate. This is my final tribute to you. Without any reservations. Sleep. Kinzo doesn't sound too great. Kinzo suddenly stood up and laughed, like an opera singer facing a full crowd and spreading his arms, as though he had succeeded in a century-long plan. Whoa! Whoa! What? That laugh spat crimson. Crimson flames poured out from inside him. Jesus! Spinning even out of his mouth, ears, and nose, and all at once his body was wrapped in hellfire. But Kinzo kept laughing. The more he laughed, the more the hellfire spewed from his entire body and began to char him. Those flames became a brilliant light, which dazzlingly, that's the word, shone on the various magic tools throughout the room, making their distorted shadows dance across the walls. Those shadows looked like the dead in hell watching over Kinzo in ecstasy as he burned. Yeah, I'm gonna guess Kinzo didn't win. And, for one who had made a contract with the witch, it was an extremely fitting end. In accordance with those terms, after laughing and howling in the roaring flames for some time, Kinzo flopped to the ground as though he was a puppet whose strings had been cut. I guess is that the sound of a puppet flopping? That sounded more like someone dropped a bunch of dishes in like a black and white infomercial. Those incredible blazing flames disappeared as though he'd been completely burned up, and afterwards nothing remained but a festering and burnt corpse that one could hardly bear to look at. Well, rest in rip in peace. Horrible. You should talk. As if you didn't think that was a fitting way for him to die. Why have you shown yourself? Do you have some business with us? Stop it, Canon-kun. You mustn't provoke Beatrice-sama. Smart of Sayo there. She's like, don't poke the bear. It would seem you have them absolutely terrified.
カノンとは仲良くなれぬようだ。
I imagine I'll never get along with Canon.
そう嫌いでもないというのにね。
Hey, it's not as though I dislike you particularly. Beatrice grinned. Canon violently averted his gaze, obviously unhappy. His reaction was so different from what he wanted to do that it made the witch and her butler laugh.
カノン、
Canon,
ベアトリーチェ様の御前であるぞ。
you stand in the presence of Beatrice-sama.
言葉遣いに気をつけなさい。
Carefully consider your manner of speech.
ああ、構わぬぞ源氏。
Oh, I care not, Genji.
好きに言わせてやれ。
Let him say what he pleases.
わらわは寛大である。
I am gracious.
何が寛大だ。
How are you gracious?
わらわは死にゆく者にはいつだって寛大である。
I am always gracious to those who are about to die. Damn! Damn! Cannon, watch out! Run! 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 Swim! Do something, Cannon! Swim! Swim away! Laugh, laugh. Exit! Cannon was taken aback by that creepy laughter. Beatrice wasn't here just to take Kinzo's life. The first twilight requires 6 sacrifices. Wait, how many people are in the room right now with them? We had 1. Technically her, but we're not going to count. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just 4. But then Kinzo died. I was going to say, is she just going to, like... I was expecting, like, oh, she got everyone in the room and then was just going to just blow them all up. The first twilight required 6 sacrifices. Kinzo alone wasn't nearly enough. And they just casually walked in here. Laugh, 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 laugh.
安心せよカノン。
Fear not, Canon.
そなたらがここに訪れたから生贄に選ばれるのではない。
It isn't as though you'll be selected as sacrifices just because you came here.
生贄に選ばれているからこそ、
Oh,
ここに呼ばれているんじゃないか。
After all, you were called here because you've been selected already.
なんだと。
What? Their instincts were good enough to spot her meaning instantly. 6 sacrifices were required for the first twilight. After Kinzo, how many more would need to add up to 6? Oh, this is like a twisted grade school math problem. If 1 person died from a horrible flame death, how many more needed to get to 6? In this mansion, the number 5 instantly made them think of the number of servants here. Oh man. Are we going an all servants run? Oh no, is she going all servants run? Is that what you desire? Indeed.
感謝せよ家具どもよ。
Thank me, furniture.
そなたたちの苦難の日々は
Tonight,
今宵ようやく終わりを迎えた。
tonight, your days of suffering will finally end. Hey, let's look at some bright side, all right? If all the servants die in this episode, what does that mean? It means Kairi made it past the first group of killings. Let's fucking go! Kairi! Kairi heads, rise up. We're here. We're here. She made it past the first killings. Let's go. Kairi heads.
それを告げに訪れたわらわに感謝せよ。
Oh god, you ought to thank me for coming here to tell you this.
かしこまりました。
With this, everyone has gotten past first twilight at least once. Let's go. Yeah, I guess that's true. I'm trying to think of anyone that wouldn't fit that, and I mean, I know my memory sucks, but like, yeah, that sounds right. Let's go. Because the thing is, usually we would get like so many different, like a lot of the adults, the adult group would die off on the first 6, I feel like. We'd always get like that. So a lot of them making it through this first round. Certainly. Love how calm Genji is.
それをお望みでした。
If that is your desire.
源氏様。
Genji-sama. Genji had agreed to the witch's heartless announcement with his usual demeanor without raising an eyebrow.
親方様亡き後は
Now that the master is dead, Beatrice Sama is our master. Responding to her demand shall be our final duty. Shannon? Canon? You have done well serving until today. That hard work is now over. As I expected of you, Genji. As your fellow furniture, I'm proud to have known you. Shannon? Do you have any objections?
Hi.
No. Shannon! Well, she seems to understand just how powerful Beatrice is. It's only Canon who's clearly not 100% on the same page about just the power Beatrice has. Or at least she was... what's that meme? Like, I'm unfamiliar with your body of work or whatever the fuck. I messed up the meme, but yeah, they're all just like, fuck it, we die. Also, it's exactly what I said earlier. That good thing Shannon, we had that little small moment where Shannon was like, oh, maybe if I would have waited a day to accept the proposal so that he didn't think I'm some floozy or whatever. Like, I immediately called it there, and I was like, oh, but you might die, so, like, I think that was probably... That seemed a bit obvious. I heard that George Sama gave you a ring. Do you still say that you have no regrets? Yes. That blessing was more than furniture deserves. Just receiving the ring has already satisfied my feelings. Shannon couldn't take quite as much of a philosophical view as Genji. There probably were regrets left in her heart. She probably wanted to spend a little more warm time with the person she cared for, George. But she released herself from that. She took a single deep breath, and a blank expression rose to her face. Very well. It does surprise me a tad to find that you've gained such composure, Shannon. It seems you too have taken a philosophical view as furniture. Won't you at least shed some bitter tears for not being able to spend a night with the man you love? What a boring woman. Alright, Beatrice, let's not be rude. You're already killing them. We don't know how to rub it in her face. This feeling cannot be understood by the likes of you, Beatrice-sama. If you desire our lives, please accept them. We will solemnly carry out that duty. Very well. Excellently put. Just the type of person Beatrice-sama can't handle. She's been taking such a far-sighted view of things lately. I must have tormented her too much last time. Speaking of which, didn't I do the same to Battler? Am I still soft? Or is the way I corner them lacking? In any case, she's just no fun. However, it seems you still entertain me, right? You will still. Canon? Canon-kun. Oh no, are they gonna fight? Compared to the two who had taken a far-sighted approach, there was a painful anguish on Canon's face. Canon was still far too young to accept his demise after being told of it by a suddenly appearing witch. Oh no, we need Canon and Renove to fight. I want that. Canon. I hate boredom more than anything. And the fact that the other two have obediently accepted their deaths isn't amusing at all. So, hope you don't betray my expectations. Are you trying to make me your plaything? Kenan realized that he was being provoked. However, no matter how furiously anger spurred him on, his opponent was a witch. He was furniture. He hadn't had a chance of victory from the beginning, but the witch was expecting that he'd struggle in vain and writhe around, and was even looking forward to it. Just thinking about that was frustrating enough to get his blood boiling. Was disappointing the witch by refusing to resist, like the other two, the only way he could strike back at her? Every time I have the music cuts out, I just, in the background, I just hear my fan going, brrr. It's like, brrr. Trying its darndest to keep me not sweating. I appreciate it. By the time I finish Umineko all the way, 100 parts from now, I'll do a special shout-out section to the fan and the fan itself. Eldest of the 7 Sisters of Purgatory, Lucifer. Oh, is it gonna... This... Lucifer fighting Canon? Arise! I'm here. Lucifer of Pride, right here. I like how you announce. You announce who you are when you arrive. You warp in. You go, whoop! Lucifer of Pride. Ready to fuck some shit up. Canon. It would be far too cruel to force furniture to fight a witch. No matter how much anger spurs you on, you would have no hope in a battle without a chance of success. Of course, such a battle would be boring for me as well. So, let it be furniture against furniture. Why not resolve it with a battle between you two? That should be enough to allow you some hope for victory, right? Now, I know that they're probably gonna do their weird, like, arm blade fight thing. That's still not 100% explained yet, and I don't know if I'll ever get an explanation as to what exactly is the reason they have those, or what it is, or if it's just, you know, chalk it up to magic. But it'd be very cool if this is one of those situations where, like, Beatrice is like, alright, you gotta fight, the Purgatory, Lucifer. You gotta fight Lucifer. But because you're the challenger, you get to pick the way you guys fight. It's like a physical combat, a game of chess, since I love chess in this story, or I don't know, we could do rock paper scissors if you really want. I'd be like, give me chess, please. I'm not gonna think. I'm gonna be like, I don't think Lucifer knows how to play chess. Hopefully, that should be enough to allow you some hope of victory, right? Oh, she took offense to that. Forgive me, Beatrice-sama. But how could I be inferior to this good-for-nothing furniture? As if this cutie would have any chance against me. Ah, she called me a cutie. Flattery. She's trying to flatter me before she kills me. I appreciate it.
我が家具煉獄の七杭を打ち破ってみせよ。
Prove that you can defeat my furniture, the 7 stakes of purgatory.
見事打ち破ってみせたなら
If you manage to win through,
そうだな。
let us see.
13人の生贄を逃れることのできる5人をそなたに自由に決めさせてやろう。
I will let you select the 5 who will escape, becoming one of the 13 sacrifices. Wow, that's a big power. That is a big advantage to win. Almost so large of an advantage that it's like Beatrice knows that Canon can't win.
そなたの推薦する5人をわらわは無条件にて黄金鏡に迎え入れる。
I will welcome the 5 you recommend into the Golden Land without any conditions.
それならばどうか。
How about that? Canon understood that he was being provoked. However, the witch's offer was very tempting. By this point, Canon couldn't care less about this evil ceremony the witch and the rest were trying to carry out. On the contrary, it was much more important that he remain alive so that he could be invited to the Golden Land and have his wish granted by Beatrice there.
そなたは家具は嫌だと泣いたな。
You cried, saying you'd had enough of being furniture, right?
そなたの望み叶えてやろうぞ。
I shall grant your desire.
枕を濡らしてまで望んだ人間の体を与えてやろうぞ。
I shall give you that human body you wanted so much, you cried yourself to sleep.
どうだ？
What do you say?
そうすればジェシカとも結ばれるぞ。
That way, you and Jessica could be together, yes?
おお、ちょうどよい。
Oh, just perfect.
黄金鏡へ招ける5人にジェシカとそなたを推薦すればよい。
You may recommend that Jessica and yourself be invited to the Golden Land.
自分だけが幸せになることに抵抗があるならば。
If you alone finding happiness isn't a satisfying solution for you,
さらにシャノンとその思い人であるジョージを加えればよい。
then you can add in Shannon and George, the one she loves.
義理があるならばさらに源氏も加えればよい。
If you're worried about duty, then you can also add Genji.
おお、
Oh,
これで5人だ。
that's 5 people.
十分ではないか、カノン。
Isn't that enough, Canon?
これだけのご褒美があれば。
With this much of a reward, cackle, cackle, cackle.
そなたはわらわを退屈させはしないよな。
You won't let me get bored, will you?
どうせ戯れよ。
She's just playing with you.
耳を貸す必要はない。
There's no need to listen to her.
僕は嫌だ。
I don't like it.
姉さんはそれでいいの？
Are you okay with this, Nissan? Beatrice couldn't hide her evil smile at those words.
僕は嫌だ。
I don't like it.
幸せになりたい。
I want to be happy.
家具なんてもう嫌だ。
I've had enough of being furniture.
人間になって普通の恋がしたい。
I want to become human and have normal love.
僕も姉さんのように海が青いってことを知りたいんだ。
I want to know that the ocean is blue, like you.
若いですね。
A callback line. I remember. How young.
羨ましい。
I'm jealous.
だから若者は好きなのだ。
That's why I like the young ones. Beatrice, that's a weird thing to say.
源氏、シャノンは下がれ。
The music just cuts off. She's like, all right, enough of this hope. Genji, Shannon, stay back.
カノン、ルシファーは前へ。
Cannon, Lucifer, forward. Draw your Beyblade strings and pronounce, let it rip. That's another thing I would want to challenge Lucifer in. A game of Beyblades.
仰せの
I
まま
might be able to win that. As you command. Alright, let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
気に入らないわ。
I don't like it.
ベアトリーチェ様は無理でも
That way you look down on me.
私にだったら勝てるかもしれないという見下しが。
As if Beatrice Sama would be impossible. but with me at least you'd have a chance.
最高に気に入らないわ。
I really don't like it. That was probably humiliating for Lucifer. But at the same time, she was also happy that she was lucky enough to have this adorable prey all to herself.
来い。魔女の家具。
Come, furniture of the witch.
いつまでも僕を見くびることができると思うな。
Don't think that you can look down on me forever. Wow. Summon them. Come on. Whoa, oh, what's happening? Whoa, whoa, oh, 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 oh. Ah! Shit, action's happening. Oh, she's revving it up. She's like, this music going on. Oh, he's revving up. So, Battler.
楽しい見せ物の時間であるぞ。
Isn't this a fun show? Cackle, cackle. Damn it.
またおかしなことになりやがった。
Another weird thing's happening. Oh, that's me every time I load up Umineko. I'm like, oh shit, another fucking weird thing's happening.
魔法バトルなんて認めてたまるかよ。
Like I would ever believe in a magic battle.
ほらほら、目をつむらずにちゃんと見ろよ。
Look, look, don't turn your eyes away. Look at it.
ほらほら、ほらほら。
Hoorah. Look, look, look.
魔法だよ、家具だよ。
It's magic. It's furniture.
そなたがどんなにわらわや魔法の存在を否定しようとも。
No matter how much you try to deny me and magic.
ほらほら、ほらほらほらほら。
Look, 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 look.
こうして目の前でブワンブワンカキンカキンやられちゃ台無しだよな。
If you've got all this happening right in front of you, it'd be a waste to miss it, don't you think?
ほらほらほらほら。
Look, look, look.
もう思考なんて止めちまえよ。
Just stop thinking.
魔法はあるんだって。
Magic exists.
これはファンタジーなんだって。
This is fantasy.
目を閉じるなよ。
Don't close your eyes.
しっかり見ろよ。
Look closely.
ほらほらほらほらほら。
Look, 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 look.
畜生畜生畜生畜生。
Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it.
魔女を認めない。魔法を認めない。
I won't accept witches. I won't accept magic.
でもこんなにあからさまにやられちまったらなんだっていやいいんだ。
But if it's being done right in the open like that, what am I supposed to say?
クソクソクソクソ。
Damn, damn it.
ほら目を背けるなよ。しっかり見ろよ。
Come now, don't turn away. Look closely,
魔
okay?
法はあるんだよ。ファンタジーなんだよ。推理ごっことかやめちまえよ。
Magic exists. This is fancy, so stop playing detective.
知ってんだよ。ものを考えんの本当は苦手なんだろう。
I know your secret. You actually don't really like to think things through, right?
やめちまえ。
You're
や
just
め
a
ち
big
ま
himbo.
え。
Then just stop. Stop!
ほ
Cackle, cackle.
らほら、どうせファンタジー、どうせファンタジー。
Look, look. It's gotta be fancy. Gotta be fancy. Yeah, he's in full on fetal position right now. Shut up, shut up, shut up!
俺に話しかけるんじゃね
Don't talk to me! Whoa! He's moving!
こいつ意地になっちゃって。
This guy's getting stubborn.
私になら勝てるなんて思い上がりをしたことを今すぐ床に這いつくばって謝ってごらんなさい。
Won't you apologize and crawl on the ground right now for being so conceited that you thought you could beat me?
そうしたら特別に許してあげてもいいわよ。
If you did, I wouldn't mind forgiving you, okay?
生きながら生皮を剥がして
Then you wouldn't have to have your skin ripped off while you're still alive.
絶命するまで全身を鞭打ってのたうち回らすの特別に許してあげてもいいわよ
Or get lashed all over your body as you squirm until you die.
可愛い子なんだから謝っちゃいなさいよ
You're a cutie, so apologize.
そうしたらあなただけは最高に素敵な気分の中で優しく優しく行かせてあげる
If you do, I'll finish you off so gently, while it still feels great.
黙れ魔女の家具
Be silent, furniture of the witch.
お前と問答するつもりはない
I have no intention of speaking with you.
私なんか眼中にないというのね
So you're saying you think nothing of me?
気に入らないわイフを感じないその目
That disrespectful gaze of yours.
本当に気に入らないわ
Is really ticking me off. What's the chance Ken actually wins? Beatrice honors what she said and the game just ends. I'm gonna say it's not a non-zero. Or wait. I'm gonna say it is a non-zero chance. I think there's a small chance Canon wins. It goes back to what I mean, obviously the narrative's set in stone. Anything I guess could be a thing and happen, but like my thing is like I only think Beatrice would offer that as like a joke prize to him if she was so confident that he would not beat Lucifer in a fight. But I guess it's possible. It'd be interesting. It would turn the episode on its head. I mean, if Canon beats Lucifer, it's all just, I mean, fucking, Beatrice was making fun of it, but, like, it would be a win by, Canon just through his rage. Like, his rage and fury is, like, the only thing propelling him to victory, potentially. Canon-kun. Just drive and determination.
あやつサタンの時よりも筋がいいではないか
Isn't he stronger than he was against Satan?
だから人間は恐ろしいのです。
This is why humans are so frightening.
たまに魔女にまでなり、悪魔を執事扱いにしたりいたしますよ。
In fact, sometimes they even become witches and treat demons as butlers.
わらわはどちらを応援すればよいというのか
So, which should I cheer on?
こいつ
Are you
私と互角に渡り合うというの
saying this guy's on par with me?
僕を見くびるな
Don't look down on me.
お前にそのおごりがある限り僕には決して勝てない
As long as you have that pride, you'll never defeat me.
私が
Yeah.
この煉獄の七姉妹が長女ルシファーを指して決して勝てないと
You speak of Lucifer, the eldest of the seven sisters of purgatory, and say that I cannot win? Yeah, I was just about to say, Lucifer is, that's pretty good.
この思い上がりが
How conceited! Whoa, whoa, whoa! Oh! Oh! What? Canon was desperately trying to stay alive, and had a strong desire to become human. But Lucifer didn't feel anything stronger than a slight desire to play. So, that led to an inevitable result. It was a result that could be reached by the power of humans. The power of the heart. Oh shit.
これまでだ
My friends are my power! That's as far as you go.
お前は僕に
You cannot win
決し
again.
て勝てない
You cannot win against me. The glowing red curve extended straight out from Canon's arm, pointing at Lucifer's throat, just beneath the tip of her chin. Oh, she needs to do a dirty move. What?
これ
What is this?
この私が
How could I?
こんなの何かの間違いよ
There must be some mistake. As she ground her teeth in irritation, she tried to deny the truth right before her eyes. But no matter how much she believed in her own superiority, it didn't change the facts right in front of her. Wow. I don't know. I don't know if Beatrice is gonna be pissed off, or she's gonna be interested that like this is a non-boring result. Oh.
やるなカノン
Well done, Canon.
見事だわらわを退屈させなかった
Wonderful. You haven't bored me.
それに比べわらわの家具のなんと情けないことか
How pitiful my furniture is compared to that.
ルシファー
Lucifer.
お嬢様を退屈させていますよ
You are boring, milady.
やはりあなたには荷が勝ちすぎた相手でしたか
Was this opponent really too much for you to handle?
失望するぞ七食いの長女
I'm disappointed, eldest of the seven stakes. Oh! It would have seemed like mere rebuke to an outsider. However, furniture serving the witch knew what kind of severe treatment was promised by that rebuke, and understood what had been left unsaid. Uh-oh. She's fucked. She's fucked. What?
この出来損ない家具が
You good-for-nothing furniture! She howled. Abandoning her last bit of pride, she made her body explode, exposing her true form. That form was a demon stake, which bounced off the walls surrounding the room.
よくも私にここまで恥をかかせたな
How could you shame me so much?
殺す殺す殺す殺す
Kill, 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 kill!
このぬるまが
You blockhead!
私の姿をもはや追うこともできないくせに
Even though you can't follow my movements anymore.
もう遊ばないよ本気で怒ったわよお前の心臓を一撃で貫いてやるよ
I won't play around anymore. I'm seriously mad. I'll pierce your heart in one blow.
ぶっすりざっくり貫いて真っ赤な血の噴水を天井にまで届かせてやるよ
Plow right through you. Make a fountain of bright red blood. Reach the ceiling. That's not the rules, Lucifer. You lost.
死ね
Die!
カノン君
Canon-kun. After flying about wildly, dink-a-donk, dink-donk. After flying about wildly for some time, with a speed approaching the limits of what a human eye could follow, Lucifer flew at Canon's heart. She could tell that it was Canon's blood by the sweet taste of it. But she quickly noticed one thing. She hadn't pierced his heart. Huh?
これだから人間は恐ろしい
This is why humans are frightening.
紅茶はいかがですかな
Would you like some black tea?
今はよい
I am fine for now.
紅茶もいらぬほどに面白い
This is so amusing. I don't even need any.
カノン君
Canon-kun.
おごったな
You were arrogant again.
だからお前は僕に勝てないんだ
I told you that you wouldn't be able to defeat me. The floor was stained with dripping blood. It really was Canon's blood. But it wasn't flowing out of his chest. Canon had sacrificed his own left hand to protect his heart. Oh, he did the smart thing. He just... Oh, fuck. I'm gonna protect the heart. But I mean, she was going so fast. She couldn't, like, pierce through the hands, too. Lucifer was arrogant. Even though she had been given enough time to realize that this was an opponent capable of cornering her, in her pride, she had believed him to be worthless. She had gotten careless. So, just as she had announced, she had aimed for his chest, trying to pierce his heart. Because she was arrogant, she hadn't even thought of aiming for somewhere other than the place she had announced. No, Maybe she had thought about it a little. However, her pride would not allow her to aim for a different spot. After all, she was Lucifer of Pride. Okay. 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 Cannon, withstanding the pain, grasped the demon stake sticking deep into his left hand strongly with his right hand and pulled it out. Oh, I really hate to do this. There's something trying to get delivered to me. I have to step for just like a minute. So I'm just gonna hold on this red screen very awkwardly for just a second. Give me like 2 minutes maybe. Okay, let me put the headphones back in. So, we got a thing here. Because I always commit to the bit, and this was a joke made earlier in the week, we've had, Grimace's blessing has been delivered to me. That's right. Oh, I should probably turn the camera on, right? Alright, get ready for the jump scare. Alright, I'm here. Oh, dude, my hair is just so long at this point. I really need a haircut. All right, Matt, to show this off while this music is playing is very funny. It's also dripping. Look, it's Grimace's birthday. It is a purple abomination. Oh. That tastes interesting. I think it's made from the milk of Grimace. Are all McDonald's selling it? I think so. As far as I can tell, I didn't have any issue finding where it was. Now, the big problem, is that you couldn't just get the shake. McDonald's is onto it. They're like, we know people are gonna buy the fucking shake, so they make you buy like a meal thing with it. So I got like, here we go. I feel like I'm that food review guy on YouTube. It says Grimace's birthday on it. What else? What goes better with Umineko than a chicken nugget? Now I'm just eating on camera. I feel bad. Shouldn't be doing that. I'm gonna try to Go away. What sauces did I get? Of course. I'm gonna turn this around. I'm spinning the chessboard around. Don't mind me. The thing is, I very much generally hate eating, especially during streaming or playing any video games, if I'm being honest. But now that I've already done the bit, like, I kind of need to just commit to this at this point. I'm gonna try very hard not to just, like, chew into the, like, I don't want to order food and then just waste it, basically, is what I'm saying. So, this is turning into, this is why Umineko on a Sunday here. I'm gonna eat a fry at a time and read Umineko. I said I wasn't gonna eat into the mic and then I realized I was literally just eating a french fry right into it. When she heard the sound of breaking bones and even more blood dripping down, Shannon looked away reflexively. Oh, I got grimace shaking my lungs right now. There was an air hole in the back of the pierced hand so big you could clearly see to the other side. Yeah, if you're able to find a grimace shake, I mean, it tastes interesting. I don't know if it's, I wouldn't say it tastes full on bad. It is large though. I don't know if the size. Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't know, maybe Grimace celebrates his birthday outside the US. Maybe. Unsure. I think it's supposed to taste kind of like a berry thing. It has like hint of berry flavor. But it is a giant shake. I probably shouldn't have selected large. It doesn't taste as bad as I would imagine, but it doesn't taste as good as you would hope. Cannon's face is filled with pain. But right now, he had won without a doubt. The demon stake he was gripping with his right hand turned back into Lucifer again. Wait, he was gripping it. If he's gripping the stake and then it turns back into a person, a human shape, what part would he be grabbing then? So Cannon was now gripping exactly where her neck was. Okay. I guess my question was answered. Gotta choke her out. Choke her out. It's my victory. Beatrice. Cannon didn't hold back at all with a hand gripping Lucifer's throat. She had challenged him again after their fight had already been decided. Cannon had no obligation to be considerate. Get her! Get her! But even so, Cannon released the witch's furniture. Was it his naive humanism, his pity for another furniture, or a final bit of respect to the witch? In any case, when she was released, Lucifer fell face down on the ground, retching and moaning over the pain in her throat. Spectacular, Cannon. Your great efforts have proven the correctness of some of Kinzo's research. Renove was clapping his hands. To Cannon, who had won at great cost and had a wound on his left hand that wouldn't close, Renove's applause only felt like mockery. All possibilities dwell within the human heart, was it? My, this is why humans are frightening. They've said that line like 2 or 3 times already. Ah, humans, they're so frightening. They're so unpredictable. Well done, Cannon. You were victorious. Spectacular. Huh. Huh.
大丈夫？
Are you okay?
カノン君。
Cannon-kun. Shannon ran up to him and wrapped a handkerchief around his left hand, which was still spraying blood.
見事であるぞカノン。
That was incredible, Cannon.
実に見事である。
Truly incredible.
わらわも少しは番狂わせを期待した。
Even I was hoping at least a little for an upset.
それを裏切らぬとは、そなたは誠に素晴らしき家具であるぞ。
That you didn't let me down makes you truly splendid furniture. Cackle, cackle.
見直した。
I think better of you now.
正直見直したぞ。
I honestly think better of you.
約束を忘れてはいないだろうな。
You haven't
ベアトリーチェ。
Oh, you haven't forgotten our promise, right, Beatrice? Indeed.
もちろん忘れてはおらぬ。
Of course I haven't forgotten.
魔女も悪魔も非道ではある。
Witches and demons may be inhuman.
だがしか
Inhumane.
し、契約に限っては人間など及ばぬほどに高潔だ。
However, we are much more noble than humans when it comes to keeping promises.
わらわは保護にはせぬ。
I will not go back on my word.
そなたが勝利したなら、
I guarantee that if you won,
13人の生贄を逃れることができる5人を自由に決める権利を保証した。
I would give you the right to decide the 5 people who escaped becoming the 13 sacrifices.
ベアトリーチェ様。
But, Beatrice-sama,
私はまだ敗れたわけでは。
it's not like that. I've lost. Whoa! When Beatrice waved her pipe, heaven and earth turned over just for Lucifer. Whoa! 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 Oh, we're going crazy. All right, so as a horribly natural result, she fell onto the ceiling. Man, that JPEG be moving. The ceiling doesn't seem that high to people standing on the floor. However, people who fall on it upside down and head first usually don't agree.
お嬢様、
Oh, she's pissed off, Beatrice. Lady,
さすがにやりすぎでは。
isn't that a little much?
それもそうであるな。
Perhaps you are right.
許してやるか。
I suppose I'll forgive her. Beatrice waved her pipe again. When she did, the magic that had been affecting Lucifer was released. So, as a horribly natural result, this time she fell properly back onto the floor. Whoa! Oh, whoa! Wacky. Wacky. I'm shoveling another nugget in my mouth.
ベアトリーチェ様。
Beatrice-sama,
お許しを。
forgive me.
何を怯えておるか。
What are you so afraid of?
わらはもはや許したぞ。
I've already forgiven you, haven't I? Cackle.
さてカノン、
So, Canon,
続けようではないか。
shall we continue?
何をだ。
Continue what?
まさか彼女にとどめを刺せとでも言うつもりなのか。
You aren't saying you want me to finish her, are you?
ああ、違う違う。
Oh, no, no.
まだ終わっちゃいないだろうが。
It isn't over yet, right?
何をだ。
What isn't?
はぐらかすな。
Stop dodging the question.
わらわは確かにそなたと約束したぞ。
The music cuts out and I just hear the fan going again. Brrr. I did promise to you your reward, didn't I?
わらわの家具、煉獄の七杭を打ち破ったなら、とな。
If you could defeat my furniture, the 7 stakes of purgatory, right? No fucking way.
さあさあおいでなさい、煉獄の七杭。
Come, arise, the 7 stakes of
不
purgatory.
甲斐なき長女の6人の妹た
The 6 younger sisters of the worthless elder sister. This is evil. Oh god. Kya! All of them say Kya! Oh, come on. Bruh. The air split with shrill laughter, and as a golden splash scattered about, the remaining 6 sisters of Purgatory showed themselves. All the 7 sisters of Purgatory were here. They're all here. After Kanon was able to defeat only one by sacrificing his left arm. By now, Kanon regretted his thoughtlessness in accepting the witch's challenge. He had been foolish to assume that a game against a witch would be on an even footing. Lame. Oni-sama, why are you crawling on the floor? You people. I told you, Oni-sama's useless. Even though she acts like she's so great just because she's the oldest, that's only on the outside. Oh, my prize. My prize. Yeah, seriously. Lucifer Oni-sama, your disgraceful behavior will damage the reputation of us all. Know your shame, you novice. Kanon-kun, that was totally awesome. But don't get cocky, okay? He's like, oh shit. I've seriously fucked up this time. Lucifer Oni-sama brags all the time, but she's no big deal compared to the rest of us sisters. Go for gore. That's why I'm always saying Lucifer Nee shouldn't do anything. Just let her keep bragging all the time. After all, those of us with talent can handle all the tough jobs. What are you gonna do, Oni-sama? Out of respect for your pride? We were planning to stay out of your way in the hopes that you'd challenge him again in that beat-up body of yours. But Kanon-kun sure is strong, right? Right now, no matter how much you struggle, there's no way you could win, right? You people! Laugh, 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 laugh. My, you sisters are always so lively. Is this any time to fight amongst yourselves? It's only together that you're the 7 stakes of Purgatory, correct? Now, play nice and execute the tasks I give you. And swiftly, okay? Hey, Lucifer Oni-sama. If you want to borrow the power of your little sisters, then say it, okay? Man, they all love to see their older sister fall on her face here. We want to hear you ask us for help with your own mouth. Do you plan to mock me even more? I, the foolish, weak, ugly, and shameful,
どうか妹の皆様お助けください。
Lucifer, the eldest sister, begged my younger sisters to save me.
ねえ聞かせてよ。
Come on, let's hear it.
それを聞かせてくれたら助けてあげる。
If you let us hear that, we'll save you.
それでいいわよね。
Okay?
みん
Everyone?
なお前たち
You?
おのれ
Bitch! The seven sisters of Purgatory unanimously closed in on their worthless sister, abusing her. Even Canon, who had been fighting for his life until a second ago, couldn't bear to look at it.
わた
As if
私が
I
そのようなことを
could say
口にできるものかよ。
something like that.
早くせよ。
Quickly now.
どうせお前一人では拉致が開かぬわ。
Clearly, we won't make any progress here with you alone.
早く七姉妹にてカノンを撃て。
Hurry up, let the seven sisters strike Canon.
そら、どうしましたか、ルシファ
My, what is the matter, Lucifer?
ー。お嬢様の命令です。
This is an order from Milady, is it not?
ひどい。
How cruel. Oh no. After grinding her teeth over and over after hearing her sister's curses, Lucifer trembled all over and answered her sister's request.
愚かで
I, the foolish,
弱て
weak,
見苦しくて
ugly. What?
情けない
And shameful.
情けない
And shameful.
この長女ルシファーを
Lucifer, the eldest sister,
どうか
beg. Wow. Oh no, they made her cry. She's crying. She's crying. She's dead. Or she might as well be dead. In her eyes. The girl known as Pride was finally unable to endure the words she was saying, and broke down crying. However, the six younger sisters kept giggling cold-heartedly.
ちょっと
Wait a sec.
泣いてごまかさないで
Don't try to trick us by crying.
まだいいっつってない
You haven't finished saying it.
もう十分だろう。
That should be enough.
さあ姉妹たち、我らの力を見せてやろう。
Come, sisters, let us let us display our power.
私は全部聞かなきゃ満足しないわよ
I won't be satisfied till I hear the whole thing, okay?
ほらほらお姉様続けてよ
Come on, Oni-sama, keep going.
もう十分よ。
That's enough.
さあ、この屈辱は姉妹全員の屈辱。
Come on, this shame affects us all.
生かして返しはしないわよ。
We won't let them leave here alive.
さて哀れな家具をどのように遊んでやろうかしら
Okay, how should we play with this pitiful furniture?
素敵な提案はある
Any wonderful plans?
はいはい
Yes, yes.
ベルゼは仲良く7人でカノン君を分けっこしたらいいと思います
Biels thinks the seven of us should get along and split Canon up between us.
良い提案だな。
Good idea.
それでなら姉妹でみんな仲良しだ。
That way all of the sisters can get along.
なら私頭部ね
Then I'll take the head.
手足はあんたらにあげるわ
I'll leave the limbs and guts to you all.
やだやだダメ
This is so fucked that they're just like toying with Canon like this, basically. No, no, no!
私が頭なの
I get the head.
そんな約束意味があるわけないでしょ。
There's no way that promise will mean anything, right?
早い者勝ちに決まってるわ。
First one there wins.
どんな殺され方がいいかカノン君に提案があったら教えてね。
Cancun, if you got any ideas of how we should kill you, just tell us, okay?
7姉妹でとびっきりの殺し方をしてあげる。
The Seven Sisters will kill you in an awesome way. I truly don't think I'm gonna be able to finish this Grimace's blessing shake. It's too much. Damn.
ここまで恥をかかせたんだもの。
You shamed me so deeply.
八つ咲きでも足りない。
Slicing into you 8 pieces won't be enough.
百咲きにしてくれる。
I'll slice you into 100 pieces.
行くよお前たち。
Here we go, everyone. Ready? Whoa. Formation. Yes, Oni-sama. Actual hell situation right now. The 7 of them burst at once. They had no intention of playing or boasting. This time, they would genuinely follow their master's order. Take Cannon down swiftly. Whoa! The 7 sisters jumped around the room faster than the eye could see, examining how they could best kill Cannon. They tortured Cannon with their cruel giggle, sometimes making a close pass at him. I'm sure Genji or Shannon sing this, and they're like, can we just have like a much more normal death since we accepted it? Can we not go through this whole song and dance? They kept scraping up his arm. They kept scraping his arm, shoulders, and cheeks, gradually carving red letters into his body. At that moment, Shen dashed up behind him, holding on to him so that she blocked the way to his body at least a little. Oh, she's doing the defense thing. At the same time, a red cylinder wrapped around the two of them like a beam of light sent from heaven. That cylinder repelled the evil ones who tormented Cannon. What? You're mean!
あんたは関係ないでしょ。
It says nothing to do with you!
きっとこれはあれよ。
Ah, I see.
私たちと一緒に遊びたいのよ。
You must want to play with us. Haha!
なら私がもらうわ。
Then I'll take it.
いっただき。
All mine.
ベアトリーチェ様。
Beatrice-sama.
シャノンを私たちの獲物にしても。
Can we take Shannon as our prey?
ん？
Hmm?
ああ、構わんぞ、好きにしろ。
Ah, I don't mind. Do as you like.
お前たちの悪事記にはカノン一人では足らなかろうしな。
It seems Cannon alone won't be enough to satisfy your gluttony.
ありがたき幸せ。
You have our deepest gratitude.
さあ、シャシャリ出てきたことを後悔させてやろう。
Come on, I'll make you regret coming out uninvited.
どっちがどっちかわからないくらいの肉片にして。
I'll turn you into scraps of meat so unrecognizable, you won't be able to tell which is which.
混ぜて混ぜてミンチにしてハンバーグにしてあげる。
Mix you and mince you into hamburgers. Good thing I didn't get the burger.
バカね。それよりあの結界を破る方が先でしょうが。
Idiot. Breaking that barrier should come first, right?
食い意地より先に仕事しなさい。
Don't let your gluttony get in the way of your job.
お姉さん。
Yes, Sony-sama. As a horribly natural first action, Seven Sisters began to destroy the barrier Shannon had created. Shannon's barrier certainly was strong. It was powerful enough to impress even Beatrice. With its strength, frail furniture could turn to dust just by touching it. And it was firm, like a tree with deep roots. But no matter how big a tree gets, it will eventually surrender to a saw or a hatchet. For the Seven Sisters, just getting like shake everywhere. For the seven sisters, chopping down Shannon's barrier would be annoying, but not impossible. Shannon, do something! A sound like beetles jumping about grew even fiercer and filled the room. The red barrier began to be cut up and eroded away, as though with an hatchet. A saw, no, a chainsaw by now. How foolish.
君の結界ではその子たちを防ぎきれないことは知っていたでしょうに。
Even though you must know that your barrier can't fully protect you from these girls.
なぜ
Why?
見過ごせないからです。
Because I couldn't overlook it. As Shannon covered Cannon, who was already at his limits, sprawled on the floor, she spoke back resolutely.
しゃしゃりでなければ眠るような死を与えてやったのに。
If you hadn't barged in uninvited, I would have given you a death-like sleep.
なぜわざわざ七姉妹の前に身をさらすのか。
Why have you gone to all the trouble of exposing yourself before the seven sisters?
死は同じではないぞ。
Not all deaths are the same.
苛烈な死は死してなお苛むぞ。
A cruel death will cause you far more anguish than merely dying. Cackle, cackle, cackle.
どうぞお好きなように。
Go ahead, do as you like.
あなたがしたいことを好きにするように、私もしたいことを好きにしたまでです。
Just as you always do what you want, I did what I wanted. Got her.
どうにもそなたはこのところ面白みに欠けるな。
At any rate, you're not quite amusing at the present moment.
恋というやつは達するかどうかのあたりが一番面白い。
Romance is most interesting when you're wondering whether it will succeed or not.
達してしまった後の女はさながら産卵を終えた鮭のごとしか。
Once it does succeed, a woman is like salmon who has finished laying its eggs.
そなたにはもう飽きた。
I have already tired of you.
ありがとう。
Thank you.
魔女から聞ける言葉で最も嬉しい言葉です。
No words from a witch would make me happier.
ならせめて最後にわらは思いっきり喜ばせる死に方をしてみせろよ。
Then, at least in the end, let me see you die in a truly entertaining manner.
七姉妹を聞こえたな。
Seven sisters, can you hear
シ
me?
ャノンの殺し方、お前たちの残虐の限りを見せてみよ。
Kill Shannon in a way that shows me the limits of brutality.
シャノン
Shannon.
申し訳ございません。
Goodbye, Genji. My apologies.
やはり私には源氏様の高みには至れませんでした。
In the end, I wasn't able to reach your level, Genji-sama.
姉さんはバカだ。
You're an idiot, Nissan.
僕なんか放っておけば姉さんまでひどい目に遭うことは。
If you just let me be, then you might not have had to meet a horrible end.
いいの。
No, it's fine.
ジョージ様に指輪をもらって女として生きられた。
I received a ring from George-sama and lived as a woman.
あなたをかばって姉として生きられた。
I protected you and lived as a sister.
私のせいはすべてこれで
It's
未練
honorable.
なく全うした。
With this, my life is complete with no regrets.
イライラするぜ。
You're pissing me off!
その達観が本当にイラつくぜ。
That philosophical take really is irritating.
だから家具なんだよ。お前からは人間の匂いがしねえんだよ。
Like I said, you're furniture. You don't even smell like a human!
わらわを見ろよ。わらわこそ人間だろうが。
Look at me. I am a human.
家具のくせにわらわよりも完成されたかのような達観したかのようなことを言うんじゃねえ。
Don't spout off philosophical crap like you're more complete than I am, you furniture!
醜い。
How ugly.
その未練があなたの正体なの。
Are those regrets what you truly are?
未練じゃねえ、それが生きるってもんだ。
They aren't regrets. This is called living.
指輪もらったから死んでもいい
I'm
と
not
か。
mad. I'm not mad. What's this about not minding if you die just because you were given a ring?
あー理解できねえ。さっぱりがっかり愕然呆然、全然ダメだぜ。
Wow, Shannon really got under her skin. I can't understand. It's incomprehensible, disappointing, outrageous, stunning, and it's all useless.
お嬢様、少し品がないかと。
Milady, perhaps you're acting a tad undignified.
うるさいわ家具が。
Shut up, furniture.
シャノン、楽に死なせてもらえると思うなよ。
Shannon, do you think I'll let you die so easily?
舌を噛むなら今のうちだ。
Now's the time to bite your tongue.
哀れね。
How pitiful.
もしも私の目にあなたのその姿が映ってそれが見えるなら、
If you can see yourself reflected in my eyes,
己が醜さにおののくといい。
then shudder at your own ugliness.
安心しろよ。
Fear not.
てめえはそれよりさらにめちゃくちゃぐちゃぐちゃに生きながら醜く潰してやるからよ。
Once I've crushed you up, you'll be much more ugly than while you still live. At the time, Genji softly entered the red barrier. Perhaps that barrier didn't block those without ill intent. Then, Genji gently held her from behind and covered her eyes with his right hand.
源氏様、
Genji-sama,
十分だ。
you've already done enough.
先に休みなさい。
Go to sleep before me.
はい、
Yes.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very
源
much.
氏様。
Thank you very much, Genji-sama. Indeed. After that, Genji softly pressed his left hand near her collarbone, as he did, emanating from that area. A crimson stain gently spread out. What? Genji. Alright. He's like, I'll just take you out. Good job at getting Beatrice angry. Now it's time to rest. Sorry. Trying to also not choke on fries. That would be a way to go. When Genji removed his hand, bright red, fresh blood oozed out of there. It only happened for the first instant, and it was shaped like a crimson rose. And when he removed his right hand covering her face, there was a peaceful expression there as though she was sleeping. Then she fell softly, silently, and slept. Slept. Her soul had already been sent to a world where the malicious witch and her furniture could not reach her, no matter how evilly they tortured her. This scene left Beatrice and the Seven Sisters stunned. Only Renove wore a mysterious smile. Then, Genji leaned over a cannon, was crouching on the floor.
よく頑張った。
You did well.
お前ももう休むといい。
You should sleep now too.
はい、
Yes.
ありがとうございます。源氏様。
Thank you very much, Genji-sama. Just as he had done with Shannon, he softly covered Cannon's eyes with his hand. Can't not hear. Rosa, why is just as he had done with Shannon, he softly covered Cannon's eyes with his hand, then gently pressed the area around Cannon's collarbone with his other hand. And when his hand was removed with the lightness of a feather, there was a crimson rose there. But that rose shape quickly turned into a stain of bright red blood pouring out. What?
何よそれ。
What is that?
つまらぬやつ。
What a boring person.
生命の風船は針にてつき、威勢よく割るから面白いのだろうが。
Even though it's so fun to poke the balloon of life with a needle so that it forcefully explodes.
見事です、源氏。
Spectacular, Genji.
それでこそ家具です。
You truly are furniture.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much.
それではベアトリーチェ様、ロノウェ様。
Well then, Beatrice Sama, Renova Sama,
これをもって私の最後のお務めとし、
with this
お
as
い
my
とまをさせていただきます。
with this as my final task, allow me to rest.
わらわの楽しみを勝手に奪いおって。
Damn you, snatch away my fun.
この二人をギッタギタのぐっちゃぐちゃにしたかった分、
Why don't I take all the thrashing and mashing I wanted to do to them
そなたがそれを変わるのであろうな。
and give it to you instead? Beatrice faced him with an unsatisfied expression, but Renova spoke quietly to Genji with a soothing smile.
ご苦労でした。
You have worked hard.
あなたは私の最高のしもべです。
You are my greatest servant.
これまでの労をねぎらうに値する安らかな眠りをあなたへの最後の褒美として取らせましょう。
As a final gift, I shall bestow upon you a peaceful sleep fitting for all the labors you have performed.
ちょ、
What?
おい、勝手な真似を。
Wait, it's not your place to... Renova snapped his fingers. Genji slumped to the floor like a puppet with its strings cut. Suddenly, and yet gently, he crumpled, falling into a sleep that no witch could call him back from. It was as filled with kindness as the sleep he had given Shannon and Cannon.
なんだよ、ロノウェ。
What was that, Renova?
拍子抜けでつまらぬぞ。
What a boring anticlimax.
お嬢様は偉大なる大魔女ではございませんか。
Are you not a mighty great witch, milady?
この程度気に留めるほどにもございませんよ。
What happened here is hardly worthy of your concern.
シャノンごときの挑発で頭に血を上らせるなどらしくもない。
It isn't like you to let the provocation of someone like Shannon get to you. Huh. Yeah, she's getting got. What was it that had Beatrice so irritated? Was she still unable to remove the thorn of Shannon's words? Renova laughed lightly as though lamenting the complexity of humanity in a woman's heart and ordered the seven sisters to go. After all, there were still 2 sacrifices left for the first twilight. The seven sisters disappeared in ecstasy. Nice! Alright, I'm gonna throw up a BRB really quick. I'm gonna try to clean up my area here slightly. And then we're gonna continue reading and stuff. I just need to remove some of the stuff. I mean, it's gonna be, is gonna be Kumasawa and Goda here? Who knows? Who can say? I will do, what BRB do we want? Let's go, we'll just go with this one. No, actually, with what we just watched, let's go with this one. I will be right back. Give me just a handful of minutes, and yeah, I'll be back to read more. Okay. I'm back. The food is away. The food is gone. I still have more than half of a Grimace shake left, though. Oh my goodness. I can still slowly sip away at this. It's been forever since I've had like an actual milkshake from anywhere. So thick. Okay. So we have Goda here. I'm gonna imagine that if it is Goda and Kumasawa that are gonna get the axe. Dude, I'm a big milkshake fan. I'm just saying, like, it's been forever since I've had one. Oh. Have my water too. I need some water. If Goda and Kumasawa are the ones who are next to die here, I'm gonna just guess that their deaths are not as interesting as what we had just witnessed. Goda was doing the nighttime rounds. Brokenjima had always been empty, except for the Ishimiya family household. So, checking that the doors and windows were all closed had no real purpose. However, ever since the time Natsui had condemned such an attitude as being careless, the nighttime rounds had become part of the servants' daily routine. In the first place, Natsui had ordered this because of the occasional witch disturbances. Everyone who came and left this island knew about the legend of Beatrice, the Witch of the Forest. It had become established as this island's characteristic ghost story. Because of that, it was only natural that some people would claim that, even when they thought they were alone in the mansion. Apparently there's no Grimace's birthday. Damn! Who would have thought Grimace was an American... Yeah, you could probably make yourself a milkshake. I don't know the exact ingredients here, but it seems it's here. Maybe I could get. Let's get I'll get it right in the. Right, there we go. Right in there. This color. You gotta get a fancy cup. You gotta get a fancy cup. Fancy cup, milkshake, whipped cream. I think some kind of berry flavoring. Purple food dye. And you've got your own Grimace shake. They would hear a strange sound or see a shadow of a person. Probably more than the milk cream. Yeah, it's probably got some, probably at least a few more extra ingredients. Although a basic milkshake sounds good. An at-home one, and you don't have to buy it like I had to. However, when that created a little too much of a disturbance and reached Natsui's ears, she made a fuss, thinking that some suspicious person might have been entering and leaving. Apparently she had roused all the servants and had them check throughout the mansion. Because all that panic over the witch had happened before Goda's arrival. They had only heard about it from the more senior servants. Ghost stories like that could be found in any workplace. Even at the hotels and restaurants Goda had worked at, there had been plenty of them. So when he heard about the story on this island, he'd given a forced smile, thinking, ah, so they have that kind of thing here after all. That forced smile aside, he had figured that, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, and had taken it seriously. Goda went along with it on the outside, but in his heart, he'd assumed it had to be a childish trick. At first, that is. It certainly is eerie. Yes, I can see why it was so easy for past servants to get into a panic. You can understand how someone doing the rounds on an eerie night like this might believe they'd seen a ghost if they saw a lace curtain waving in the breeze from a window that hadn't been closed. So, if you make fun of the witch of the portrait, there is a curse. seems there was even a servant who received a serious injury and quit.
怪我は勘弁だな。
Well, I wouldn't want that.
俺もこの年だ。
Think of my age.
二度とこんな厚遇の職場には恵まれねえだろうよ。
I probably wouldn't be granted a workplace this hospitable again.
肖像画の魔女様。
Witch of the portrait.
真面目に働きますんで、一つ穏便に頼みます。
I'm working sincerely, so please give me some peace. Go to pray to the portrait, his hands together as though he was at a Shinto shrine. Oh. At the time, he thought he heard a sound. The kitchen? Was that the sound of something metal falling on the floor? Maybe a mouse or a cockroach had come out and knocked over some of the dishes. No, how could that be? It was usually cleaned thoroughly. Thinking he'd check out what that noise really had been, Goda entered the kitchen. He turned on the kitchen light. When he did, he heard a strange sound. Clank, clank, clink, 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 clink. To a cook like Goda, sound felt like the lid on a pressure cooker or something shaking. Surely there wouldn't be a pot on the burner when no one was in the kitchen. Even if someone was using the gas, walking away from it would be quite dangerous. Just to get, that's how I think, was it on this stream series? That's how a fucking random roommate I had my senior or junior of college almost burned our apartment down. He left a pot of beans on the stove and fell asleep. And then they just burned. They just burned and it was a bunch of smoke everywhere. Just in case, Goda decided to inspect the area around the gas range. Burned a bunch of beans.
何ですか? これは?
He was an idiot. That wasn't that even wasn't the dumbest thing he ended up ever doing that year there. What is this? When he did, in the corner of the gas range, the pressure cooker really had been set out, just as he thought. But the flame wasn't on, and yet the lid was clanking. Oh, don't touch it. Was something fermenting and leaking gas? How could that be? Then was there a mouse or something inside? How could there be? Ridiculous! When people were watching, Goda acted as though he had a bold personality fitting for his build, but he actually had an unexpectedly timid side to him. He was frightened that there might be something inside. He couldn't bring himself to check it carelessly. In his cowardice, he grabbed a nearby wooden pestle, and with a clunk, he tapped it a little forcefully against the side of the pressure cooker. When he did, the clanking sound suddenly stopped. He should have been relieved that it had stopped. But the fact that it had stopped when he'd hit it was even more eerie. It made him even more suspicious about what was inside. I would not. This is like a horror game thing. I would not. I would leave it alone at that point. Walk away, Goda. Turn down the curiosity. Gulp.
この世に怪奇現象なんて存在しませんとも。
Mysterious phenomena do not exist in this world.
そんな魔女も魔法もそんなもの存在するわけがない。
Yes, witches and magic, things like that couldn't possibly exist.
すべての現象は科学的に説明できるんです。
All phenomenon can be explained with science.
お化けも魔女もいてたまるもんですか。
As if monsters and witches could exist. He repeated that many times, trying to build up his own confidence. The gap between what he was saying and what he was doing was quite comical.
何が魔女だ。何が魔法だ。たたりだ。
Who would believe in a witch? Who would believe in magic or curses?
そら。
Come on.
正体を見せてみろ。
Show me what you really are.
そら。
Take that! He removed the lid of the pressure cooker. And lying exposed there. Well, this better not be like, it's gonna be like Kumasawa's head. Or her hand. Or maybe one of the steaks. Was the sparkling clean silver bottom of the pot. Oh. Damn. There was absolutely nothing frightening like he'd imagined. It was a jape. Whew.
そりゃ当然です。
It's only natural.
中に何もいるわけがない。
There's no way there could have been anything inside. By now, Goda realized that he had been a coward. So, while he still had some doubts as to what had caused the lid to make that sound, he figured it wasn't a big problem and decided not to worry about it too much. Then he took the lid he grabbed and softly set it back down where it had been. It's fine, it won't make a sound. Of course it won't. As if witches or magic could exist. Clank. Clank, 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 clank. Huh? Clank, 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 clank. It's a ghost! It's a ghost! Clank, 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 clank. That's a terrible clank noise that I'm doing. All the pots and dishes in the kitchen started clanking at once. Oh no! The pots and the pans! They're clanking! Get out of the kitchen! It grew even stronger so that finally the lid to one of the pots fell off. And from inside that pot, a slender white arm reached out. Oh my god! Lids fell off the other pots one after another, and another, and another. As if witches could exist! As if I'd believe it! Oh man, I was kind of right. I was kind of right on two fronts. When the number of arms grew to 7, a loud, shrill laughter split the air. I said it was going to be the stakes and like the severed arms or something of Kumasawa, or a hand, and I was kind of right. What a letdown. Too bad that someone who can make such delicious food is such a lightweight. If you don't want him, I'll take him. He's all mine. Wait, I said no. I'll take him. Huh? Whoa. Unison laughs. That dink-donk noise always makes me laugh every time I hear it. Come on, let's search. There's only one more. That old hag. Where is she? She's in the mansion. What about the guest house? First one wins, right? Come on, search, find her. Don't be noticed by the relatives in the dining hall, right? And don't get noticed by the kids in the guest house, right? Search in silence, kill in silence. After all, it's just the first twilight. She isn't in the guest house. She wasn't in the mansion either, right? Oh, she's hiding. She's being smart. Hey, I found her. She's in the rose garden. Aw, damn. Well, she tried. Why is she standing around there without an umbrella? She's already given up. All mine. You blockheads can just sit there and watch. I told you no. This one's mine. Come on. If we take any longer, we'll be scolded by Beatrice-sama. Let's take care of it all at once. She's like, there. Found her. Surround her. Come on, let's get along and do it all at once, okay? Die. No fucking way. Oh shit. Kumasawa. Huh? Huh? What? What? What is this? What naughty girls. You wouldn't happen to be friends with that child, would you? Just what is this? This old hag? There's gotta be some mistake. One more time. Damn. She's very pleased with herself.
こいつどうして私たちを防げるの？
Why can she defend against us?
どいて
Move aside.
もう一度よ
One more time.
何度やっても無駄だ。
No matter how often you try, it won't work.
この個人できる。
This person is good.
私はあの子を待っているのです。
I am waiting for that child.
どうか呼んできてはくれませんか？
Would you mind calling for her?
そのようなデッチ暴行私たちがすると思う？
Do you really expect us to run errands for you like that?
その必要はない。
There's no need.
ベアトリーチェ様
Beatrice-sama.
私が権限するほどでございます。
After all, even I have manifested by now.
必ずやお目覚めと思いました。
I was certain that you had awakened.
ロノウェイ、
Nove.
久しぶりですね。
It's been a long time.
ええ、本当に久しぶりです。
Yes, truly, a long time.
こいつロノウェ様を呼びつけに？
This person's talking to Renove-sama without using Sama?
そして
And
あなたもお久しぶりですね。
it's been a long time since I've seen you
ベ
too,
アトリーチェ。
Beatrice.
こいつベアトリーチェ様までも呼びつけに
She's not even using Sama for Beatrice-sama.
よい。
Enough.
そのお方をどなたと心得るか。
Don't you know who this is?
ベアトリーチェとはそもそもそのお方の名。
The name Beatrice itself is hers?
わらわはそれを受け継いだに過ぎぬ。
I only inherited it from her.
そのお方こそはわらわの師匠、
This is my teacher.
先代ベアトリーチェ兄弟。
God, it's exactly what I thought the situation was. I mean, I didn't know it was Kumasawa, but... This is my teacher, the previous Lady Beatrice.
先代
The previous
ベアトリーチェ卿
Lady Beatrice? What? Insane. Gold butterflies appeared in ones and twos from the Garden of Roses and began to gather around Kumasawa. Then, after she was wrapped in a golden sparkle, she burst and disappeared. Kumasawa's form was no longer there. Whoa, she's hot! No, I'm joking. But that was a joke, because she went from old to this. But, like... What about the previous cycles? What happened? What happened to Kumasawa? Why was she just killed so effortlessly? What's the difference? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Instead, there's another golden witch, the one who once taught the path of an endless witch to Beatrice, and the only person Beatrice ever called teacher. Her hair was long, beautiful, and vividly youthful, and her figure in that elegant dress couldn't possibly have been mistaken for an old lady. No, this looked like a completely different person from Kumasawa.
これはお師匠様。
Well, well, teacher.
再びお会いできる日が訪れるとは夢にも思いませんでした。
I never even dreamed that we would meet each other again.
ええ、私もですよ。
Unless this was never supposed to be Kumasawa. I mean, this might be making a huge leap, but like, this maybe goes back to my theory. Maybe in this cycle, Kumasawa isn't Kumasawa, or like somehow this teacher, whatever you want to call her, the previous Beatrice, like just took the form of Kumasawa. And so maybe in the previous cycles, those are the true Kumasawas and wouldn't have had like the ability to... I don't know. I don't know. Yes, neither did I.
よもやまた眠りを妨げられるとは夢にも思いませんでした。
Oh, what I was gonna say is maybe this goes back to my theory that, like, maybe these witches can just assume the shape of another, like, for lack of a better term, another player on the board for each cycle or whatever. So that's why, like, you know, in this one, this witch is hiding as Kumasawa, but in the previous rounds, maybe this Beatrice was, like, hiding as Natsui, like I thought previously or something. And so, like, then that's how you could say the whole thing of, like, oh, there was only 18 people. There's only 18 people playing. There wasn't a 19th person. Because really, like, she was, like, replacing. I don't know. My head's going everywhere. I certainly never dreamed that my sleep would be disturbed. Such a troublesome time for you to awaken. If you'd remained asleep as usual, first twilight could have ended without much trouble. Or perhaps I should be glad you're here. I was just getting a tad bored. As usual, it seems you're toying with sinless people in a vulgar game. I believe I taught you several times that the power of the Endless Witch mustn't be used to cause people trouble. Don't say that, teacher. Isn't boredom our natural enemy? This is just a little spice to escape from that. The more the corrosion advances, the stronger my power becomes, and the easier it becomes to summon my minions. But who would have thought it would release the seal on you, teacher, at the same time? It's precisely because I predicted such a thing would happen. That I slept so very close to where you were. Though I prayed in my sleep that I would not be awoken again. I just had a thought. I just had another thought. Okay, so with those lines just a little bit ago, blonde-haired Beatrice was like, man, the seal was weakening, and so who would have thought that that would have woken you up, yada yada yada. What if every character, my thought is, what if every character is a witch in this game? Literally every character, other than Battler. What if by the end of this game, it's like an oops, all witches type situation, and like obviously Battler wouldn't have known, and like, you know, the power, the seals or whatever gets so weakened, it's just like revealed everyone's a fucking witch. And so it's just like Battler, where he's like, witches don't exist, and it's literally like every character around him has been like revealed to be like a witch in hiding this whole time, and then Battler just has to be like, well, I just really wanted to say oops, all witches. But I'm seriously gonna, you know, in the level of my theories, right? There's the ones I like truly believe in. There's the ones that are just wild, where I just throw them out there and I don't actually believe in. And then there's like the middle theories, and I'm gonna put that into the middle theories bucket. I'm gonna say everyone has a potential that it's like gonna be a big reveal. Everyone is a witch, except for Battler. And, like, narratively, like, maybe Kinzo. Maybe Kinzo isn't a witch or something. I don't know. Being reunited with you is, like, this is a very sad thing for me. But I would just like to put that theory out there, you know? So that when I'm inevitably wrong, or very right, Oh, I'll look amazing. You're as cunning as always, teacher. Cackle. Renove. Have that young furniture step back. Furniture only serves its master. The master is responsible for all of her crimes. Certainly, Madame Beatrice. I mean, I got my answer basically already, where that I was like, why didn't Kumasawa reveal herself to be this witch earlier? And assuming there isn't any shenanigans going on, it's mostly just because we got the line from Beatrice saying like, oh, it's the seal is weakening, and I didn't know that that would wake you up or whatever. So I assume that's going to be as general as an answer that we're going to get, at least for now. At least. I've already passed that name on to this child. Come now, step back. Furniture girls. I may give warnings a second time if you did not listen to the first. However, do not expect to receive a third. Damn. She means fucking business. Step back, Seven Sisters of Purgatory. If you get dragged into this, only dust will remain. Back, everyone. Renove and the Seven Sisters of Purgatory retreated. After that, what remained was the Beatrice whose daring expression didn't falter, and the teacher Beatrice who had given up that name and wore a composed smile. Well then, teacher. What tea shall I prepare for our long-awaited reunion? Let's see. This reunion was longer in coming than the visit of a comet. Perhaps I will accept your hospitality. And if it seems a mistake has been made, I'll have you return my name and the title of Endless Witch. So, even the title of Endless Witch has a license renewal policy? As you wish, teacher. See how splendid your disciple has become. And see how far she surpassed you so long ago. Oh, they're gonna have a witch off. A witch fight. The air between the two Beatrices seemed to explode with sparks. Whoa! Hey, here we go, here we go, here we go. Nice. Nice. We're milkshake bros now. You know, like 45 minutes ago or something, I said, like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish this Grimace shake. I hate to report that I'm now, like, a fourth of the, like, left. I might actually do it. I'll have a full Grimace shake in my mouth. Or, in my mouth. In my body. I honestly think I mostly just have, like, whatever whipped cream or whatever was on the top of it left in there. The air between the two, also, like, because it's warm in my apartment right now, is, like, the milkshake's, like, melting fastly, giving it, like, a weird property. I also remember that you mentioned no way the other deaths are as wild as these first ones, though. Yeah, I did mention that. Is that you saying, then, that this is going to actually become, like, a fight to the death type situation? I thought this was going to be, like, a meeting of respect. A mutual respect. The air between the two Beatrices seemed to explode sparks just by glaring at each other. They purged all spirits from that space. As they watched, the Seven Sisters shivered. After all, they had retrieved just 3 steps less than they had. Retreated just 3 steps less than they had. It would have already been turned to dust by now. So come, Beatrice.
あなたにその名を譲ったことが私の生涯でただ一度の後悔です。
Surrendering my name to you is the only regret I have in life.
その過ちを今自らの手で修正しましょう。
I will now correct that error by my own hands. Wow, they're actually gonna do it. This is actually kinda, this is interesting. I want to see full force Beatrice versus Beatrice. Apparently very powerful witches. Just.
そりゃ違うぜ、お師匠様。
You've got it wrong, teacher.
わらわのただ一度の過ちは
My only error
この程度の力を学ぶのにあんたに弟子入りしちまったことだぜ。
was becoming your disciple in the hopes of gaining such a puny level of power. Get it?
なんだ
What are you calling magic?
何が無限の魔女だ。
What are you calling the endless witch?
こんなの気づくだけの力じゃねえかよ。
All you've got is a power that can be gained by just by noticing, right?
それをもったいぶって偉そうによ。
And you act as though that's so great and impressive.
お前の出番はとっくに終わってんだよ、お師匠様よ。
Your turn's long over, teacher! Fight. Oh my god, they're having the opposite of a mid-off. Oh god, she's warping around. Oh god. Oh shit, Shadow Clone. Oh my god, what? Huh? Battler, confused still. I don't have a clue what's going on anymore. What in the world is happening right in front of my eyes? You poor thing. Seems my disciple is causing you trouble. I apologize. Who the heck are you? Man, she seems very cool. It's just a shame that narratively she probably is not going to make it through this fight, right? Such a shame. Why did old Kumasawa turn into a Nishan like this? I mean, seriously, who are you? I don't get it. What kind of special effects are these? My head feels like it's gonna explode. I am the witch teacher of that child. My old name was Beatrice. When that witch child succeeded me, I gave up that name, so I have no name of my own. Like you've already said, your disciple's been a real pain to me. Please, take responsibility and do something. No, wait! I don't believe in stuff like this. As if witches and magic could exist. I won't accept this messed up battle. Damn it, what should I believe? Just a mouse in the middle of the screen, my bad. Oh. That's just like you. Hospitality with a very quick temper. I'd expect nothing less from you, teacher. It seems this is so trivial too. You don't even feel like opening your eyes. But I doubt you'll be able to win unless you're prepared to wreck this whole island, see? Come, arise, shoulder war towers. What? What the fuck are we doing? In response to Beatrice's summons, a terrific earth tremor split the rose garden, and on either side of her shoulders, two massive war towers sprouted and stabbed into the heavens. They stretched up to 100 Marut tall, and each had over 360 ports. They were war towers of the gods' army corps, which had prevented even groups of ancient heroes from invading their sacred grounds. Yeah, no, me and Battler, I'm also like, there's no way. There's no way. As Beatrice elegantly floated in the gap between the massive two-headed towers, she looked down on her teacher, sneering with a sense of absolute superiority. Dude, they just need to summon... At this point, let's just have giant kaiju fights. I mean... with two massive towers lined up behind her shoulders, the witch looked very small, like a butterfly dancing between huge trees. Yeah! Ha 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 ha! Laugh, laugh, laugh. Don't think you can dodge it by turning into butterflies, okay? The density of the Twin Towers barrage wouldn't just make you a pinned bug sample, make you a madly stabbed pincushion, right? Over 720 ports opened on the towers, and godly soldiers readied their multi-shot ballistas. Is that the end of your turn? Famous last words. Blast away! Noise warning. The ballista shots that numbered over 1,000 were all fired at once, drawing a beautiful geometric curtain of death. The boorish sound as the bowstrings were played was probably even deeper than that of a reaper swinging its sickle. Come, arise, fallen tower. Split the single language and let that sin be known. What the hell is this? We started with such humble beginnings back in episode 1. The sky was stained an incandescent red, and from between the clouds a blazing massive tower fell upside down. That massive fallen tower and its rubble sucked in the thousands of ballista shots, so that not one of them approached the body of the witch who had summoned it. That's right, no group of people, no matter how large, could approach the mysteries of heaven. That was the reality of the fallen tower. As I would expect from you, teacher. If you do something, you always do it big. Yeah. My turn isn't over. Her turn isn't over. She's gonna activate a trap card. And then she'll attack your life points directly. Come, arise, sons of Ivaldi. I can read. Bestow upon me a worthy spear. The fuck? Did that say smothered mate? That's... Huh? As a massive crimson tower that had fallen made a terrible gold-colored explosion, a massive spear appeared from inside those flames, so tall, like a tower, that you had to look up to see all of it. It was too large even for a giant's hand. That divinely beautiful spear of the gods was so massive it gave the illusion that the fallen tower turned into a spear of the same size. It was a spear of certain victory that none could escape. think that's the Nord dwarves that forged Odin's finger. Okay. I see. I had to get another mouthful of Grimace Shake. For the rest of this. Okay, looks like your twin towers won't help you now. How foolish to block off your means of escape on both sides. Alright, now I'm gonna say it. If this is only the first Twilight, and this is the final death of this Twilight, there's no way in hell the deaths after this for this cycle are gonna match whatever the fuck is happening right now. Like, there's no way. To block off your means of escape on both sides. You can't defend against even a single spear. When she snapped her fingers in command, the massive tower-sized spear shot at Beatrice like a lightning bolt. It aimed right for the middle of the center of the Golden Witch's heart with extreme precision, as she danced in the gap between the towers like a butterfly, slicing straight through the air like a flash of lightning. Ha! So, you use Gungnir at a moment like this. You really are incredible, teacher. First, useless towers. Arise, giant soldier, battle line. Fully block that divine spear with your shields and chests. The shoulder war towers exploded in gold. They became several. They became several billion gold butterflies. These butterflies took the shape of 7 massive armored soldiers, each stretched a full 50 into the sky. And they lined up in front of Beatrice, protecting their master and holding massive shields that towered like windmills. Whoa! Oh my god, they were as massive as a mountain range. The witch behind them was like a small moon hiding behind the mountains. Once in the past, when the massive shields these giants held had been readied by the whole regiment, they had protected King Wilhelm's castle not only from arrows, but from the wind and the rain. For when they had faced upwards and held their shields to the heavens, not a single raindrop had gotten through. Foolish. The shame of a witch who has forgotten to respect things sacred. Did you think mere giants could defend against the spear of the gods? Indeed. No matter how much human metal you are armed with, you cannot block a spear of the gods. Oh no, I can't read this. A wonderful epaulette mate by Madame. No way! Beatrice-sama! Of course I haven't forgotten, teacher. Come, arise, disciples of Hephaestus. Bestow upon me a worthy shield. A golden whirlwind arose at the feet of the giant soldiers. It was a cloud of countless butterflies. They attached themselves to the massive shields like gold leaf, sparkling like they were a gold mirror. It was the absolute defensive wall given to a goddess by the chief of the gods, the Aegis Shield. And the holy spear, which left a dignified tail behind it like a comet, crashed into the mountain range of that gold shield. There was a terrible thunderous roar. It was the creaking of the pillars that held up the heavens. The divine spear spun around and around and was sent flying in the direction of the setting sun. Impossible. She defended against the divine spear.
Yes.
No, that is not correct. The the divine spear avoided her. It is the law of the gods that an absolute spear and an absolute shield must never fight one another. Although, in the end, it means the same thing as defending against it. Their skills have improved from engaging in these fights so often. Or rather, it seems you're still as bad as ever at this kind of game, teacher. It's my turn to strike back. I shall follow the code and counter a spear with a spear. The giant soldier battle line, which had fully blocked the divine spear, released its holy gold shields. The shield fell to the earth, making the ground shake. With all this happening, what about the other? What about the rest of the family? Are they just inside? Are they oblivious to this happening? Are they just in there? Are they watching this? I need to know. I need to know so bad. When they did, another gold whirlwind arose, and the 7 gold shields changed their form into 7 massive spears of lightning lying on the ground. At once, each of the giants lifted one of their legs high and firmly stomped on the tips of the handles. As the earth shook with a thunderous sound, the 7 lightning spears spun beautifully and flew up above the golden soldiers' heads. They scattered into a golden splash and began to fall before the giants. Each of the giants squared off, and with the force of their whole body, they kicked and smashed them. Not this again. The broken pieces numbered exactly 30 and became lightning spears of exactly the same size as the originals, which made 210 for the 7 giants, and all of those burst at once, with each splitting into 30 thorns for a total of 6,300. They became a barrage of thunderclads drawing a beautiful geometric pattern, and then each changed into 3 bolts of lightning, so that 18,900 thunderbolts shot at the predecessor Beatrice. It's over! Beatrice-sama! I would expect nothing less from Madam. That bundle of almost 20,000 thunderbolts must have reduced the teacher's body to dust, but there had been no resistance. Beatrice knew immediately that she had been fooled. At that time, from the direction that the sun had supposedly set, she felt the impossible rays of sunlight. A brilliant ray of light shone on her profile. It was the figure of her teacher, holding aloft the spear of the gods that had supposedly been repelled a short while ago. She bore a sparkle like the sun on her back and made it shine on the incarnation of darkness. As Beatrice watched, she was trapped like a mouse in a cage, cornered in a dead end formed by the giant soldier battle line. By now, the predecessor Beatrice had seized a position directly alongside that line. Playtime is over, Beatrice. Have I exposed my flank? Her bold expression hadn't faltered even once, but now it twisted for the first time. And faster than Beatrice could click her tongue, the predecessor Beatrice released the holy spear. As it leapt through the air, it changed its form once more. Come, arise, Vergar brothers. Bestow upon me the giant-smashing iron hammer of heaven. Giant soldiers, protect me. What are you doing, you blockheads? By now, it's no longer a spear, with the whirlwind of a massive hammer that raised a sound like a windstorm as it flew through the air. It was a legendary hammer that had shaken even the king of the frost giants. So, the giant soldiers couldn't escape from that fear. So, regardless how strongly their master ordered them, they couldn't get in the path of that hammer. Back rank mate. Rest in peace. Damn it! Before the whirlwind of that massive chunk of metal, Beatrice was nothing more than a mere speck. The instant the whirlwind started to suck Beatrice in, she appeared to change into a massive war tower. Oh no, she took a form of a massive tower! The iron hammer smashed the war tower, scattering tremendous amounts of rubble, but it did not reach she who had escaped behind it. Furthermore, when the smoke started to settle, War Tower sucked in the massive iron hammer without crumbling and blocked the way. Even the giant smashing iron hammer couldn't break through the final tower protecting the witch. However, this War Tower was actually the witch's last trump card. It was a War Tower for dodging that could only save her from danger once. Once! But this tower was impregnable. No weapon could break through it. At that time, the moon disappeared. As Beatrice hid in the shadows of the giant soldier battle line and the war tower, she looked up at the sky. Oh my god, it's Odin! When she did, inside the moon was the figure of a massive horse ridden by the god of war and death. The predecessor Beatrice rode the horse with him. His cloak had backed the moon, or blocked the moon, and swallowed it in an eerie shadow. And the spear of the gods was in his hand once more. In other words, it was a godly knight who had jumped over the ramparts formed by the giant soldiers in the war tower, attacking from the heavens. A cackle. You got me. Smothered mate. It was fun, Beatrice. A guttural scream. The struggle to the death between the two witches with the same name was over. Big fan noise. Oh my god. Get her! The spear that had been launched from the heavens pierced the ground. In chest, a smothered mate is checkmate delivered by night, in which the mated king is unable to move because it's okay. There we go. It's a chess term. That makes too much sense. The giant soldier battle line in the war tower split up into countless gold butterflies, wrapping the area in a gold-colored storm. Then came the sound of thunder, and the sound of the falling rain and wind. If you looked around, the rose garden was empty. The butler and the rest were watching the two witches confronting each other. But Beatrice alone had changed. She had been pierced straight through by the spear, from the base of her neck and her right shoulder to her left buttocks. Oh no, not the butt. No, don't die, you're too sexy. Aha. Unable to even reach the ground with her feet, horribly exposed like a pitiful pinned butterfly tormented by the wind and rain. But Beatrice-sama. I don't know what to think right now because, like, I feel like Beatrice-sama's Beatrice-sama. I just said Beatrice is too good, too conniving to be lost right now. But man, what if like this is like a moment in the story where it's like blonde-haired Beatrice is just gone. We now have the predecessor Beatrice, as she was called just a few minutes ago. And if blonde-haired Beatrice is gone, what happens to these people? They're just like, well, maybe our services aren't needed anymore. As expected. A truly fearsome person. That settles it. Beatrice. Ouch. Or is this maybe an event that only happens in this cycle? Maybe if we cycle into episode 4, maybe everything gets reset again. And it doesn't, it's like it never happened. It never matters. Who can say? Beatrice wore a bitter smile of false courage, but a strand of blood dangled from her mouth, making her look even more pitiful. The title and power of the Endless Witch. You'll return them to me now, along with the name Beatrice. Damn. Damn. You are too immature to call yourself an Endless Witch. Stop. Forgive me, teacher. I was just fooling around, okay? It was just a prank, bro. Beatrice actually said it was just a prank, bro. As she's dying. I will take my name back from you. I shall return you to your original form. Perhaps you should relinquish this power which is beyond you, and live a life suitable for yourself. Come, try to remember. What form did you have? Oh, she's doing the whole reforming, like, or putting her back into her original form magic thing. What a callback. The predecessor Beatrice began to recite the words of power. When she did, small gold butterflies gathered near the skewered Beatrice and began to swarm about her. Putting her back together. Get it back together. Like butterflies sucking the nectar out of flowers, they began to suck the magical power out of Beatrice. And it seemed to cause her intense pain. Oh my god, is she just gonna turn into a regular human? Oh no, she's been demoted from queen to pawn. A cry of anguish issued from Beatrice's mouth. She no longer had any power to resist it. Come, try closing your eyes. Try to remember. What form did you have? Come, Beatrice. Repeat it with me. Let us sing a song together. Then it will be over soon. Let us end your pain as fast as possible. You're right. How long has it been? Since I've sung with you, teacher. Come, together now. Come, try to remember. What form did you have? Come, try to remember. What form did you have? And the two of them began to recite the same song. More and more gold butterflies danced around, swarming around Beatrice. It will be alright, milady. You will lose your place as my disciple. That will not change the fact that you are the lady I serve. After that, I shall read a book for you again. I shall bake you apple pies once more. Just like it was long ago. Come, try to remember. Yes, try to remember. Are you finally starting to remember? Hey, teacher. Did you remember? That thing behind you? No way. What is this? When the predecessor Beatrice looked behind her, there was an eerie hedgehog. Wait. Let me read that again, make sure I read the right word. There was an eerie hedgehog curled up there. Nope. Yep, hedgehog. That's the word. No. It was herself. There was another predecessor Beatrice whose whole why is it saying a hedgehog? What? Whose whole body had been packed with ballista shots. Oh. Lying there like a pincushion doll. Pincushion doll. Come, try to remember. What form did you have? Or maybe that's not right. Come, try to remember. How were you killed? Predecessor Beatrice was stunned. Her form gradually began to fade away. I knew it. You can't count out blonde Beatrice. She's just that bad. This is... When did you... At the beginning, I did not summon a pair of shoulder towers. There were 4 towers. Teacher, you carelessly stepped across the 7th rank rook boundary of death created by the 2 hidden towers, which were lurking in the distance on either side of you. Rookie mistake. It was bad manners of me to say check this late. I simply must apologize. Insane. The battle had been decided at the very beginning. It had been over since the time the predecessor had leaned forward, readying her holy spear to attack Beatrice, who had been wedged between her shoulder towers. The hidden towers lurking on either side had bathed her in a windstorm of ballista shots from 720 ports on both sides, pinning and killing her. However, Beatrice hadn't wanted it to be resolved like that. She had wanted to let her teacher take her next move, and had continued acting as though the game was still on. She had immediately revived her with the endless power, and had made her continue the game as though nothing had happened. Then, the predecessor slowly remembered that she had already been killed, and began to vanish completely. When she did, the spear that had pierced Beatrice also vanished. Man, I was really hoping Beatrice was beaten. It would have been more interesting, I think, to see what would have been the next course of action. Well, damn. Beatrice finally landed on the ground. There wasn't even a trace of a scar. It was fun. Teacher. If you want to play again, I'll revive you anytime. And once we've had some fun, I'll make you remember that you're a corpse again. See? I did everything you told me to, right? Didn't you tell me to always put my toys back in their boxes when I'm done playing with them? Oh, whoa. Was it an easy victory?
愚か、心象だ。
You fool. It was a tough one.
四つ子島で騙せてなかったら死んでおったのはわらわの方よ。
If I hadn't tricked her with the four towers, I would have been the dead one, or the one dead.
さすがはお尚。
I can't read. As I'd expect from teacher.
だがこれで胸が張れるというもの。
But now I can stand proud.
わらわは今こそお師匠様を完全に超えたとな。
Now, I've completely surpassed teacher.
ロノウェ、
Renove,
お師匠様の亡骸をもう少しマシにしておけ。
clean up teacher's remains a bit.
わらわもそこまで敬意を失ってはおらぬでな。
I haven't lost my respect for her that much.
かしこまりました。
Certainly.
今宵の第一の晩は少々派手に暴れすぎました。
Tonight's first twilight became a little too riotous.
少しは片付けも必要でしょ
A little cleanup will be necessary.
う。すぐに取り掛かります。
I shall see to it immediately.
ヤギたちよ、お片付けの時間です。
Goats, it is time to clean up. When Renove snapped his fingers, blazing, sparkling eyes began to blink open in the shadows and darkness, becoming goat-headed attendants that appeared one after another. One by one, they wordlessly stood at attention in a line behind Renove's back.
この度は6人の遺体をどのようにいたしますか？
This time, what shall be done about the 6 corpses?
また密室形式に。
Another room, another closed room pattern?
わらわは今それを考える気分にない。
I'm in no mood to think now.
どの上に任す。
I'll leave it to you, Renove.
バトラーを悩ませるようなとびっきりの密室を頼むぞ。
An extraordinary closed room to torment Battler, if you would. No, she's like, I'm not dealing with the puzzles right now. Certainly.
それではとびきりの。
And it shall be extraordinary. Ah! Oh!
それ、バトラーはどこだ？
Okay, where's Battler?
バトラー、わらわの大活躍見た？
Battler, did you see my big moment?
くしょー
Damn it.
今のめちゃくちゃな魔法の嵐を見せつけられて俺は何を否定すればいいんだ。
After being shown that screwed up magical storm, what can I deny?
魔女はいるも何も
Forget just witches existing.
あんなドッカンドッカン
After being shown that tremendous flashy fantasy,
凄まじいファンタジーを見せつけられて今の俺は何を否定すりゃいいんだよ。
what can I deny now?
もうわかんね
I don't get it anymore.
え。前回もそうだがこのイーカス的なマジカルバトルをどう否定すりゃいいんだよ。
It was like that last time too, but how can I deny these awesome, wonderful, magical battles?
だよな。
Good point. Good point, Battler. Isn't that right?
こんなの見ちまったらもう言い逃れはできねえもんな。
After watching this, you can't talk your way out of it, right?
さあバトラー、とんでも推理を聞かせてくれよ。
Okay, Battler. Let me hear some ridiculous reasoning. Whoa.
お嬢様、笑いに品がございませんよ。
Milady, your laugh is becoming undignified.
おお、これはすまぬ。
Oh, my apologies.
しかしわらわの責任ではないぞ。
But that isn't my fault.
何しろバトラーにキューッと両目を固く閉じてキリキリギリギリ歯ぎしりするなんとも悔しそうなその表情を見せられると。
After all, Battler tightly closes his eyes, grinds his teeth, and shows me that ever so bitter expression.
自然とわらわの口からこぼれてしまうものでな。
It just automatically slips out of my mouth, you see? Yeah, ha 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 ha.
さあ、バトラ様。
So, Battler-sama,
くじけずにテーブルへお戻り
why don't you return to the table without losing heart?
を。お嬢様はバトラ様の反撃を期待されておりますよ。
The lady's expecting your counterattack, you see.
ふざけるな。
Quit messing with me.
何をどう反論すりゃいいってんだ。
How the hell can I make a counter argument?
まずあの塔が地面から生えてきたあたりからもうめちゃくちゃだろうが。
In the first place, everything was already screwed up when that tower sprouted up out of the earth.
実は六軒島の地下に合体変形巨大ロボの秘密研究所でもあって。
Should I say that under the ground in Rokenjima, there's a secret laboratory for building super alloy combining robots or something?
ボタン一つでおかしな塔が生えてくるってのか。
And that pushing a button can make these strange towers sprout up?
なあ、それならあのでけえ巨人どもはきっとロボットだぜ。
Right, and then those huge giants must be the robots.
あるいは悪の秘密結社のメカ怪獣かもな。
Or maybe an evil secret association's mecha monsters?
わけわかんねえよ。
I don't get it.
俺に話しかけるんじゃねえ。
Don't talk to me.
ほらほらほ
Noises.
らほら泣くなよ。
Look, 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 look. Don't cry, okay?
魔法でドッカンドッカン。
Bang, bang, it's magic.
そなたが望むなら月だって砕くし彗星を雨のようにだって降らすさ。
If you want, I'll crush the moon and make comets fall like rain.
お前好みのムチムチ姉ちゃんで島を埋め尽くしてやってもいいんだぜ。
I can even bury the whole island in this massive breasted Nichans you like so much. See? Battler's probably like, yeah, let's go with that. It's fine. Sure.
さあさあほらほらほらわらわの手番は終わったぜ。
Come on, come on. Look, look, look. My turn's over, see?
受け手をさせよ。反撃しろよ。
Show me your response. Launch your counterattack.
できねえだろ。
You can't, can you?
できねえのは船長も承知よ。
Except that there's a quadrillion things you can't do.
お前こういうのダメだもんな。
You're useless against this, right?
こういうファンタジー本当は大好きなんだもんな。
You actually like this kind of fantasy, don't you?
知ってんだよ。今時こんなの巷にいくらでも溢れてるじゃねえか。
I get it. That's been going around on the streets lately, hasn't it?
漫画に小説、アニメに
Great.
映画。
Great. In manga and light novels and anime and movies.
10代くらいのガキンチョたちがおかしな特殊能力いっぱい持ってて世界の命運かけてドッカンバッカンやるやつ。
Some teenage brats get a whole bunch of strange special abilities and they blow up all sorts of stuff with the fate of the world on the line.
お前も大好きだもんな。
You love that too, don't you?
知ってんだよ。隠すなよ。大好きじゃねえかよ。
I know. Don't hide it. You love it, right?
そのお前の大好きなやつがちょいと目の前で披露されただけじゃねえかよ。
Hasn't the thing you love just been displayed before your very eyes?
どうして漫画やアニメのそれは信じてくれるのにわらわのだけ信じてくれねえんだよ。
Why do you believe it in manga and anime, but you won't believe in me?
信じろよ信じろよ信じちまえよ。
Believe, believe, believe it.
反論なんかできねえさ。こうして見せられちまったんだからな。
You can't argue back, not after you've been shown something like this, right?
ほらほらほらほら返事をしろよ。
Look, look, look. Answer.
思考はいらねえ。素直にごめんなさいベアトリーチェ様って言えいいんだよ。
You don't need to think. You can just obediently say, I'm sorry, Beatrice-sama.
ほらほら言ってみろ。ごめんなさいベアトリーチェ様って言ってみろよ。言えよ言えよ恥ずかしがるなよ。
Look, look, try saying it. I'm sorry, Beatrice-sama. Try saying it. Say it, say it. Don't be embarrassed. Ooh, laugh, 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 laugh. Nice. Nice. Holy shit, it is so hot in my apartment today. I am dying. I gotta say, I'm glad I'm not like stopping streaming but these conditions actually suck to playing, reading, focusing on any video games. I gotta be honest. Alright, 6 a.m. Alright, we'll probably stop here. I need to go, like, I need to go dunk my head in, like, some cold water or something. We'll call it, it's a good cliffhanger to end on. I mean, it's not even a cliffhanger, really. It's a good moment, I think, to end. I am curious to just think, like, I made a joke of it earlier, but, like, did any of the other families see the giant fight happening outside at all? I assume with how the scale of it, you would assume that it would cause some kind of disturbance, unless it was, like, truly such a magic battle that, like, it didn't disturb anyone else somehow. Just through sheer magic, like, it was just like, oh, it's like the non-magical people on this realm just can't even experience it or something. You know what I mean? Something like that. I don't know. Just thinking. No one's showing up as officially dead, although I assume that's probably going to change at some point soon here. Go ahead and save there. Alright, cool. I'll be 100% honest, I was, like, totally expecting and ready to go, like, another, like, 2 hours or so. But, yeah, I think it's a mix of, like, a bunch of milkshake and McDonald's food, and then I feel hot. Like, it's just not conducive to sitting in a chair and reading. I need to go out where there's, like, wind. Go outside, wind, experience wind, and then, like I said, take a cold shower or something. Thanks so much for watching, though. Like I said, hopefully fan noises weren't too noticeable or distracting. Tomorrow, I should be back on tomorrow at some point. Although, like, obviously during the day, during the afternoon, peak hot weather. So maybe I'll try to aim for either an incredibly early morning type stream or a normal kind of night Monday stream. So, because I will technically be off tomorrow again as well, but I don't know what my schedule is going to look like. So I will see. This week we have Final Fantasy 16 coming out late in the week, so we'll probably expect to see a bunch of that at the end of the week as we play along through that. I'll still obviously stick with Umineko, and hopefully there's not too many more streams of Zenki Zero left. I assume there's going to be like a handful of those still left, and I'm probably not going to be able to push to finish that before Final Fantasy 16 comes out, but I'd imagine that's going to wrap up in the next 2 weeks or so on my schedule, is my guess. So, thanks so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Think of Grimace, and I will see you in another stream.